There we go. Thursday, live from Agribition. You see the guy on my right if you're watching that stream. That is the smooth sounds of our man Sharky. He's back in the saddle. Good to have you back, buddy.
It's just good to be out. Yeah, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
So,
Little under the weather for a bit, but you're back. We are live,
feeling good
at Agribition. If you're coming by, stop by, say hi. We possibly could have some rodeo tickets for tonight to give away.
If anybody's got a ball cap, because I can't wear my cowboy hat on top of my thing. So
Sharky's in the market for a ball cap. Have you seen the size of the trade show here? You'd be able to find a ball cap somewhere.
Somebody in this trade show's got to have a ball cap for
I
me.
think there's a custom ball cap guy in the hallway over there. No, but it's good to have you back. We got a 3-hour show here for you. Like I said, live from Agribition. We got CFL talk. We're going to find out a little bit more on maybe who the front runner is in Edmonton for the head coaching job. We have yesterday we talked to, my wife said, don't call him a rodeo clown. He doesn't like it. I'm like, no, he says that's what people call him. He's an entertainer.
He is.
He's a barrelman.
Yep.
Fantastic job. Today we're going to talk to the guy that kind of plays the music, gets people hyped. How does he read the crowd? All that. Shaun Kindopp's also going to come on.
Love it.
From Agribition. We're going to talk about the rodeo tonight. They're expecting a big night, possibly the biggest Thursday they've ever had.
Wow.
Yeah, the rodeo here definitely hums. That's hour one. Hour two, Arash Madani is going to come by. Let's see where Arash is going to stir the pot today. He's probably going to want to talk a lot of NFL because it is
it's the big day south of the border.
Yeah.
Yep.
Donny Uhren, owner of Extreme Hockey, is going to come by. We're talking about some safety equipment that you don't necessarily always think about for your kids. If you're playing hockey, talking to hockey here, and this weekend, massive scare for our family. So we're going to talk to Donny about that. First place I stopped when we got home was Extreme Hockey. That's in hour two as well. You're going to recap some U of R stuff
Got
going
some stories going on there.
U of R. And then hour three, Glen Suitor and voice of the Kelowna Rockets, originally from Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Regan Bartel is also in hour three. We're going to talk about Kelowna getting next year's Memorial Cup. So a lot to get to. You know, Sharky, Thanksgiving in the United States of America, everybody out there has American friends or relatives. And today's a big day. And if you've ever celebrated Thanksgiving in the United States, it is something else. It is awesome. The thing about Thanksgiving in Canada, because there's 3 football games, and nobody, I think maybe horse racing, possibly not even, no one wants to compete with the NFL
on Thanksgiving.
Nope,
they all take it off.
So the thing that I was saying to my wife today, she's a principal at an elementary school. How many, her phone was going off in the morning, how many teachers not coming in today? And she goes, actually none. And she was at a school, I'm not going to name, a couple of years ago, and she got like 3 or 4 teachers. She's like, oh, teachers not in today. I'm like, how many are male? Well, 3. I'm like, hey, it's American Thanksgiving. So, like, there are 3, and there was the year that there was 3 like bullet games.
And
fantastic.
I mean, the middle one today, Dallas and the Giants, maybe a pass, but yeah, there's still some good football to be played today. I know of like a dozen parties that are going on in man caves around the city where guys are getting together. So many guys took the day off from work. My work was super slow today.
Yeah.
Super slow.
So then the other thing, if you're a sales manager, sales supervisor, any kind of manager, and your staff or your people are, I'm out doing calls. I'm gonna be doing calls all day. I got an afternoon meeting. It's Thanksgiving. There's watching football. 90% chance they're watching
somewhere sitting down watching a football game.
So yeah, sorry to spill the beans on a lot of guys out there. My days of watching football on Thursdays, I think, are done for the time being. We're here. Detroit 23-20 over Chicago. What a nail biter!
Really,
till the end. One of the exhibitors here from the U.S. was stopping by, and he was watching the game at his booth, and it was back and forth because it wasn't even close in the first half. And I hammered Detroit on a number but that on the Sports Select ticket, that's a tie. So that's going to screw me right there. So it's 23-20 Detroit over Chicago. The other game like you said, Dallas and the Giants.
Oh,
And that one starts in about 20 minutes time.
that's a good time to take a break, check the smoker,
As a Cowboys fan,
reload your drinks. Yeah.
and the Giants are starting. They're not even starting DeVito.
Well, yeah, he's got an owie. He's got a sore arm. He can't play. His mom sent a note.
They are. He's probably celebrating big Thanksgiving guy.
Yeah.
With his family. Yeah. So they won last week, though. What did you think about your Cowboys last week?
Well, I bet against them.
Well,
I bet
smart.
against them, and sure they go and win. They're not. They're a good enough team to beat the Giants. They shouldn't have beat Washington. Not a chance. They should have beat Washington. But yeah.
Well, Kansas City almost loses to Carolina.
Yeah.
Weird game. Drew Lock. That's who's starting for the
That's
Giants this afternoon. So
Not even a household name in his own home.
all I took on that game was player props.
Yes.
And then the late game tonight in Green Bay is the Packers and Miami. If you know anyone with a private jet, you probably can still get to that one. That'd be a Thursday night game at Lambeau.
That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Any game in Lambeau.
And Thanksgiving. They've probably been partying since about 10:30 this morning.
Stadium view across the street. They have a nice happy hour special before games. So yeah, there's NFL football going on. Sure, a lot of people are out there watching that. There was news today that coaching carousel, I guess a little bit in the CFL when it comes to the Edmonton Elks, that Mark Killam is now the front runner. A report out there, allegedly.
Why? Because they saw him get an interview? Because he was there? I mean, what? How does he get to be the front runner all of a sudden?
Well, and then you start listening and reading, and people are, they're talking about players love him. Well, there's a laundry list of coaches that players have loved
that aren't coaching anymore.
Unfortunately, you don't raise trophies with love.
Not in football. There's other sports that maybe, but not in football. I think, in my mind, you've got to look at Campbell first. He's got to be your first choice.
What's wrong with Jarius Jackson?
Well, and that's number two to me is Jarius Jackson. I mean, he took over a dumpster fire and actually got Edmonton in the mix for a while. Edmonton's other problem is quarterback. And I don't get the love for Trey Ford. He's probably a really nice guy and a great dad and all those things. I do not get the love for Trey Ford as a quarterback. I think how Trey Ford beats teams is he just runs around till the defense gets tired and then gets a first down. I think that Edmonton's problems are in quarterback first. I don't think Trey Ford is the guy. I can appreciate that lots of people love that he can run around and do that stuff. But I think you want a quarterback that can sit back there, throw balls, make things happen. I don't see Trey Ford as that fellow.
I don't think the sample size is big enough on Trey Ford.
But the sample size we have, I don't think it's there.
And then you're going to these coaches, defensive coordinators who are professionals, and they play. Now they got taped to scheme, and it's like we talked about before. It's like, okay, there's going to be analytics involved. Okay, this percentage of time he rolls right, he does this, or he just runs. Yeah, they're going to pick out his tendencies. It'll be interesting. Maybe he is the next Damon Allen. I don't know.
I don't see it.
But Dave Thomas was saying, I was texting him today. He says Killam makes a lot of sense, but the owner, president, and GM all seem to have an attachment to the past. So Campbell still makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I would wager on that.
The Campbell name in Edmonton is huge in terms of that organization. And are they going to change back to the Eskimos?
Or are they going to go Esks?
That was one of the banters they were throwing out as they were going to remove the Elks.
And then now there's a push in the States to go back to the Redskins in Washington.
Well, sure. Right? Pretty soon there'll be no history of anything at all. And we'll get into name changes later. I have a discussion around that.
We didn't get to the text line yesterday because since we're live on location here, it's a little trickier with our communications. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, it's 2024. Yeah, we have people, as we speak, eating in outer space. But I couldn't get text.
But they're not running the radio station.
No, it's not the guys running it. It was me. I couldn't get to the text messages live here. So that was a little difficult. But we did have a number that came in yesterday, and I wanted to read a couple. I promised I would. It was a lot of it was based around the CFL. A lot of it was based around Agribition. That people were saying, hey, Agribition, you got the cattle show, you got the trade show, you got the rodeo, you got all that. Oh, yeah, we talked about hockey rinks, the Assiniboia hockey rink. Have you been to the new hockey rink in Assiniboia?
No, I have not been there. Nope.
It's weird. Like, I haven't been there either. And Trevor chimed in about the new Wynyard rink. I haven't been in that one either.
Really? I played in the old one.
Oh, that's an awesome barn.
It was great. The old barn was great.
There was nothing.
Except that toothless woman who yelled at me when I was in the penalty box.
That is somebody's mother.
Yeah, well,
probably.
Should have bought their dentures. Or maybe she just took them out to yell at me. I could have been one of the two.
The old Weyburn. Oh, I got spat on. Spat? Is that the correct terminology?
Siemens.
No. Siemens was always an afternoon affair. Going into play a Siemens, and it was like Sunday afternoons. It's like no one wants to come out here. But yeah, that's the new barn there is supposed to be great. A lot of people chiming in too about who the Riders should sign. Who's the other quarterback that we need to bring in with her? And then there's so many armchair GMs out there, which is fun.
Yeah, it is fun to be that. And
they're saying, I'm just going through here, why didn't we kick the tires on VA? Agree a bit.
Okay, here's where I am on VA. He came here in the playoffs, and Trevor Harris beat him straight up, 1-on-1. Win or go on, Trevor Harris beat him straight up. Trevor Harris was far and away the better quarterback in that game. So if you're asking me, do I take Trevor Harris or VA? 1-on-1 against each other, win or advance, Trevor Harris was the better quarterback. That's all I need to say.
Long term?
In the CFL, you're not looking past a year or two. Like, you're not looking 3, 4, 5 years down the road, right? You're looking to next year and maybe the start of 26. But right now, you're just looking at 25. Who's going to get us there? There's so many one-year contracts in the CFL. You're looking at 1 year at a time. So that's where I think Trevor Harris is a really good fit for us. Now, in terms of a backup who we bring in, Shea Patterson, I thought, did an admirable job in the position that he was in. Do I think Shea Patterson is the answer going forward? I'm not convinced. You look at Toronto, do you think that they are trying to find a whole bunch of money for Arbuckle right now? You're darn right they are, right?
Is it a whole bunch of money, though?
Well, because Arbuckle's a free agent, he's going to get offers. Somebody's going to, and it might be Edmonton.
He's not going to get starting offers, though.
No, he's going to get he's going to get 250.
Would you take Arbuckle or Jake Mayer?
Arbuckle.
In Saskatchewan.
Arbuckle. Jake Mayer didn't impress me in Calgary.
Yeah, well, what did impress you in Calgary this year besides Cowboys?
Yeah. Hadn't been to that yet either. Not this year.
No, we got a nice casino in there now.
Very nice casino.
They've evolved.
I think if you get a choice between Arbuckle and Mayer, you take Arbuckle. I think you put he was in the biggest game of the year as a backup, and he.
Yeah, no.
Right?
I'm not discrediting what he did, and he was solid. I just think Mayer's played more. He's definitely what's his right term? Battle tested. He's been through the crap.
I don't disagree with you. Then if he's been through the crap, I think the film on him should be better than Arbuckle's. And right now, I would say Arbuckle's is better.
What about Masoli?
Too old. He's way too beat up. He's way too beat up.
I like Patterson.
I don't have a problem with Patterson either.
Like he was serviceable.
Yep.
Is he going to grow? Is he going to learn? Because you have to in anything. It's like business as well. Would he come back? And like we talked about yesterday, I forget who Dave mentioned. Was it Mayer? Nobody ran the table as far as quarterbacks start to finish in the CFL. So you're going to get injured. You're going to get banged up at some time. You're going to need a guy that can go in there and win you games. And if your defense isn't as good as the Riders was last year, then you're in trouble.
You're exactly right that nobody ran the table. So look at what the best guy was over the course of the year at quarterback. And I would say in the games that he played, that was Trevor Harris.
I'm a Trevor Harris fan, just how he reads the defense. He gets rid of it quick. He can pick it apart. Yeah, he didn't have a great game against Winnipeg. And people are going to say, well, he's never been able to get over that hump, or he's never been able to. Yeah, no, Winnipeg was a good team. Winnipeg game planned us perfect in that game.
They did. They were very well prepared.
And it wasn't our day, and things kind of snowballed from there. He reminds me of a CFL version of like and I'm not going to say that because then people are going to text in and they're going to, but a guy that can read the defense well, knows when to get rid of it quick, audible out. And our O-line did like an unbelievable job with what they had this year. So next year, what changes? The other thing is I would really like to know AJ Ouellette. What's the offseason hold for him? How beat up is he?
How bad is that hip?
Are we talking surgery on that hip?
Yeah. How bad's that hip?
It's there are so many factors, I think, also that come in with a quarterback that, okay, well, what's around him?
Well, that's a great point. And I think our starting receiver group that should be there, when you look at Schaefer Baker, you look at Emilus, you look at Bain.
What about Myers? Like Myers, the stretch last year.
That's right.
A Joe who's going to be on this program tomorrow.
I think Picton, he was banged up really bad with that ankle sprain. There's some guys there. There's some great receivers there. Offensive line, you got to think we went through 2 offensive lines, essentially. 2, right? We had 13 guys play on the offensive line. If Furland and he gets 4 other healthy guys around him, we get the best offensive line in the country. I mean, the pieces are there. And everybody that's criticizing Jeremy O'Day, remember that all the offensive linemen that started the season game 1 did not finish the season in the same position game 17 or game 18. So let's be honest about the people he brought in that made it work and got them better as the year went on. So I think if you're Trevor Harris, you want to play here, right? This is the offense that he likes. You get a 70-some% passing completion percentage. Easy for you to say. That's outstanding in any league, let alone the CFL or otherwise. So I think Trevor Harris is a guy. I think the offensive line's got the depth to be there. You're right. I'm curious about AJ Ouellette in that hip, but Armstead did very, very well replacing him. So
I think that was Brian Trache that just walked by.
No. That guy out there?
I was like, that guy looks familiar.
It's not Brian Trache.
No? Ron Trache from St. Louis? No, it's Tim
Trache from Mancota.
It's a great debate, and we got coaches. Where are they going to land? What's Richie Hall as a coach? Is he just going to be that defensive guy? Is that where we're going to see him? Is that I don't know the guy. I've never played for him.
I think Richie Hall's really happy where he is. You know what? You can say a lot of things about becoming a head coach or a general manager or some other role down the way. It changes the dynamic of your family, who you are, where you live, right? I think Richie Hall is really happy being the defensive coordinator in Winnipeg and looking after that job. I think he likes the people he works with. I think he loves the city, and he doesn't want that to change. That's my guess. It doesn't mean Richie and I are tight, but that's if I had to guess, that's why he's there, and that's why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, and sometimes guys aren't head coach material.
No, they're assistant coaches, and they know it. Yeah, because they're really good at the schemes and the plans, but they're not so good at running the whole bench and seeing the whole game.
You can chime in. Capital Ford Lincoln text line 936-6262. What do you think on the CFL front? Who should maybe back up Trevor Harris? I know some of you are going to say, well, we should look at this guy instead of Trevor Harris.
Assume Trevor Harris is going to be the starter.
Let's assume Trevor Harris is going to be back.
Give us the next guy.
What are you guys thinking out there? What about the coaching carousel? Are we going to lose J.C. Sherritt to Edmonton?
Could.
No, and you can't fault the guy, right?
If that's what he wants. Yeah.
That's where he was. That's where he played. He's a little bit of an icon there.
Yeah.
And, no, there's so many things. Like I said, if you want to text in, go ahead, 936-6262. We're going to talk rodeo when we get back here live from Agribition. Anyone want to go to the rodeo? Are you listening? Are you listening out there right now? And you're coming and you're saying, you know what? We should go to the rodeo tonight. And you're walking through here. Stop by. I didn't even know our booth number. We're in the soccer center. You just stop by and say, I want to go to the rodeo. I got 2 tickets right now. First person that comes in, snags them. You can go to the rodeo. It is packed tonight. Shaun Kindopp's going to let us know, kind of update on how many people we can expect under the orange top tonight. He is saying it could be one of the busiest Thursdays. We'll talk to him, and he's also bringing a guest by when we come back.
I love it.
It is the All New Sports Cage, streaming live from Agribition at sportscage.com, and as always on 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the All New Sports Cage, live from Agribition. We're getting presents dropped off.
Got some gloves?
Dagelman
Nice.
gloves.
Look at that.
Oh, these are good. Thank you very much.
You XL
Thanks
or large?
to
You
Dagelman.
need XL or large?
I'll
What do
do
you
large.
You do large?
Yeah.
I'll do XL.
Sorry, I've taken over. Go ahead.
That's a tough one amongst guys. How big are your hands?
I'm not even going to go into that conversation.
It's
The exchange rate from the United States, so I think I've got the advantage.
Garrison Panzer. He's the music director at the rodeo here this year at Agribition, joining us from Weatherford, Texas. It's American Thanksgiving.
It is.
Cowboys. Your Dallas Cowboys are. It's kickoff here right away. Are you itching to get near a TV?
This is going to come across blasphemous being a Texan. I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Oh,
No. So I grew up in Kansas, so I'm a Chiefs fan.
oh,
Okay.
Oh, that's automatically. Yeah. Everybody thinks you're a bandwagoner if you say something like that.
No. I got no problem with people loving the Chiefs. Yeah.
all right. He was a big Patriots fan, and now he's a big.
I'm actually
Chiefs-
just a real Swift fan. She's the
Oh,
one that
yeah.
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you're from Weatherford, Texas, which is you said just outside of Fort Worth.
Yes, sir.
Great Billy Bob's, fantastic tavern, bar, a dance hall, saloon,
How
whatever.
come whenever we have a guest on and talk about their hometown, you know all the bars in the place?
I like to support the economy whenever I travel. You're the music director at the
I
rodeo.
am,
Okay,
yeah.
so look behind the curtain here.
Okay.
What does the music director do? You got to you got to get the crowd going, right?
Yeah. So the best way that I can explain this, and I'm stealing this from a friend, is have you ever been to a movie and you sit on the edge of your seat in the suspense, that vibe that comes through the state, right?
Yep.
If you're watching a scary movie and you sit there and they're creeping around the corner, you don't get the same feeling as if all of a sudden somebody kicks on Cotton Eye Joe, right? Like it doesn't
Gangnam Style.
Like you're sitting right there and it's like, where's the axe murder? Had it been for Cotton Eye Joe, I've been married. Like it's not the same thing. So it's the same for rodeo. Like, I mean, if you want to sit there and you want to see a 90-point bull ride, you don't want to be sitting and listening to Turn the Page, the Metallica cover. Great song.
Yeah.
Great
Fantastic.
cover. But you're thinking more, if you're Metallica side, you're thinking Enter Sandman.
Yes.
AC/DC.
Ride
you want
the
to go,
lightning, something
like
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love
Exactly.
it.
So it's all about setting the mood, and then vice versa, same thing. Not just the dramatic, effects, but if the fans are sitting there and they're just bored, if they're sitting on their hands the whole time, the energy's not in their room. So if I can get you a song that makes you want to bop your head, that'll get you to want to clap your hands, that'll get you to stomp your feet, and then eventually we're singing along and partying.
Is it different for different parts of North America that you go to and do this? As certain
Yes.
songs resonate differently?
Yes. Yeah. So I've noticed that the rodeos I've had the privilege of coming up to Canada for, everybody wants to have a good time, and they're admirers of the novelty of rodeo. They're admirers of the party and the good time. Now you travel down to central western Texas. You better be ready to have the Bob Wills and the George Straits and the old Keith Whitley songs that just make you feel like
Miami.
Yeah,
That's a
steel,
slow rodeo.
steel guitar picking, just all that vibe. And
Love it.
Wyoming a little bit, but those are traditionalists. Those are the ones that are there that if they see an 86-point bronc ride, everybody else in the stands, they're, oh yeah, cheer, let's go. If
They know it's not good enough.
If they see an 86-point bronc ride, they're like, that's the way it should be.
It's business.
Business.
It's business.
Yeah,
It's-
act
it's
like
like-
you've been here before, son.
Yeah, it'd be like a hockey game here compared to a hockey game in Weatherford, Texas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like our guys would
yeah.
would know the gist. Garrison Panzer joining us, the music director at the rodeo here. First time up here?
Second time. So second time to Agribition. This is my third year coming to Regina. So I get the privilege of coming up and announcing the Pile of Bones rodeo during the Queen City X, and then music direct this for the second year.
It's always cold in Agribition time.
Yeah, I really questioned a lot of life decisions this week. When I left Texas, it was 55 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 12 your temperature. And when I looked on my phone this morning, it said it was -10.
Yeah.
Agribition is usually the coldest week in Regina. And I'm not, it's historically, we're going to get a snowstorm. It's going to land around Agribition. it's always been the coldest week, so feel special.
Do you have any
Rock
other
Week.
options this week? Are there any other rodeos that if you had to weigh it, it's like
So there are other options. There are other things going on, but none other I'd rather be at.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Good
where's
answer.
the boss at? Did he hear that?
Yeah,
answer?
he's
Okay.
Sean heard that over there.
Just making sure.
Kinner's dialed. We had yesterday on the show Matt Merritt.
Yep.
Barrelman, entertainer.
There you
Yeah, it was awesome. Have you worked with him quite a bit?
I have. We do a tour of rodeos through the East Coast, and had him come to a couple last year, and get a chance to see him on the Cowboy Channel and a couple other places. Matter of fact, next year we're going to have him working with us at a big rodeo in South Dakota, the Governor's Cup Rodeo. He's going to come be the entertainer. So I think it is, and obviously I'm being a little biased being from the States just like he is, but I think it's pretty special that, Regina gets to share in his talent for this rodeo. I mean, he brings a level to it that's pretty special.
Do you guys talk before? Are there anything like, hey, can you play this? Can you?
Is there a little bit of a script?
Yeah,
maybe? Yeah.
Not so much script, but there's a couple things that every clown or every entertainer's notorious for. I don't want to give it away too much.
Yeah.
He did it last night, but like one of his specialties is I don't remember what the name of this, Even Flow or something like that. I don't
Pearl
remember
Jam?
who it's about. Pearl Jam. Yep,
Yeah.
there you go. That song. Well, he thinks it's a sing along song. He thinks that you get through that first part and he's like, whatever the words are, free, yeah, and then he'll
When I
come
see
on
his
this.
head on a pillow made
Yes.
of concrete. Oh, yeah.
Did you tell him that you knew the words to yesterday?
Probably the only part of that
you're
song that I
the only
know.
person that does, because this is how he sings it. Shabalaba hamalaba hala habla ya.
What for you though? Okay, so are you? Who doesn't like George Strait?
Yeah.
Right.
True.
But
True.
but what songs kind of rev you up? Or do you,
all right. So my go-to is Shoot to Thrill, AC/DC.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and I'm weird about it though. So I get made fun of by my friends. I don't know if this makes me a good or bad music director, but I don't really listen to the lyrics of a song. I couldn't tell you half the words to half the songs, even George Strait songs. But I love the beat of a song. I love a good drum, good guitar riff. Something that'll. But Shoot to Thrill's one. I don't know, Mother by Danzig, anything by Mainskin. I just love the beats to the songs.
Holy smokes! You just named two artists I don't even know. I got to do some Googling.
Yeah. We'll do some Googling after this.
Yeah, I love it.
It's worth Google.
So upbeat country. When you're let's say you're in a Regina and all that. Like what's kind of the upbeat country that you'll go to?
Well, anything kind of modern now. I think Zach Top's about the hottest thing in country music right now. I said that as a guy too. That was weird, but I think he's pretty popular amongst people. And so anything from him, Ella Langley, anything that's who's the artist I'm trying to think of right now? She.
Taylor Swift?
No, not Taylor Swift. It'll come to me. But, I think upbeat like that. Now, and with AI being a thing, you can get remixes of songs of different guys singing different songs. And then people are coming out with collaborations. Post Malone is coming out with some crazy collaborations. He sang a song with Dwight Yoakam, and that's usually what I close the rodeo out to. It's hard to say goodbye. He's got some good ones. The song "I'm Gonna Miss Her" that Brad Paisley sang, and it was good. Post Malone's got a good cover of it.
Oh wow!
So just I like upbeat country, but with the twist of it.
What got you into this?
I grew up rodeoing, team roped all my life. My dad and granddad rodeoed too, and so I thought that. I wanted to be a rodeo judge, thought that maybe I'd go on making a career doing that, knew that I wasn't really good enough to make a career competing. And I know it's going to be hard to believe right now as you're listening to me jabber on. I don't have a hard time talking. So I made a career out of announcing and just occupational hazard growing up where I had to do music to announce. There was nobody that came and did it for me like at some of these places. And so just out of force of habit of having to learn it and be good at it, doing the duel, I just make a
so like everybody in the music radio, it's small town start, right?
Exactly.
It's small town start. You got to start somewhere, and it's usually in a small town where you look after all the buttons.
Yeah, and that's why I grew up around some guys that the two guys that broadcast all of our local high school football games and basketball games. I'd go with them to some places and spent 3 years in high school, listening to every call that they made and listening to everything they'd say, and just trying to learn the verbiage and the ways to set things up and the style, and listening to all the local rodeo announcers, and then taking that a step further, the music directors, all the guys that would go play it at rodeos, listening to how DJs transition from one song to the next and matching it up.
So yesterday when we had Matt on, he talked about he worked Arlington.
Yes.
Right? He worked AT&T Stadium. What's the biggest rodeo, biggest venue that you worked?
The biggest one that I've had the privilege to work is probably Columbus, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same building that the
Columbus Blue Jackets play in.
Mm-hmm. And I think we had 13 or 14,000 there last year. Nationwide arena.
Yeah,
yep.
So, yeah.
14,000 for our rodeo.
Nice.
Got to announce to them, played to so we get to play in a lot of the NHL buildings. We go to Columbus Blue Jackets, or we go to the Carolina Hurricanes. They're in Raleigh. St. Paul, the Minnesota Wild. We go to the XL. So yeah, we've gotten to play in a lot of those buildings, and
awesome.
It's pretty cool.
We're in Canada.
Yes.
Right? Like, do you lean to CanCon, like any Burn It to the Ground, Nickelback? That's an absolute banger.
I mean, it's almost blasphemous. I should have mentioned Nickelback. Of course, you have to have Nickelback.
It's such a pump. The hidden gem when we're done here, it's called "Breathe." It was on Nickelback's first album.
Okay.
I never thought why that wasn't a hockey warm-up song.
I got to go listen to it.
It's a banger. Garrison Panzer, thanks so much for coming on and doing this. I'm looking forward now to going. I know the guy playing the music.
Yeah.
I'm a big Roxette fan. You probably have never even heard of Roxette.
I have not. But I got to
slide in a little Roxette in there.
Okay.
That would be nice. Thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate
and
to meet you, Garrett.
Enjoy your time here in Regina. It's the All New SportsCage live from Agribition, streaming at sportscage.com. We are back live at Agribition. It's the All New SportsCage. Like we said, it's American Thanksgiving, 3 games on today. And the NFL lives at the Canadian Brew House with Thursday Night Football and your chance to win a trip to an NFL home opener of your choice. $1 off tankards of Bud Light and Budweiser. Details all at the CanadianBrewHouse.com. Around the area tonight, fellas, hockey action. The top team in the Prairie Junior Hockey League, Fort Knox, is in town taking on the Regina Capitals at the Ritchie. 7:30 puck drop. There are no games in the SJHL. Hope the rink in Weyburn is good to go tomorrow as they welcome Humboldt. WHL, no games. Pats start their trip in Kamloops tomorrow. And in AAA, we got the Legion and Contacts. Blazers, 7-3 over Moose Jaw last night. Blazers, Pat C's, they play Saturday, Sunday here at C6. So that'll be interesting, especially with Agribition wrapping up. And I heard the ice at C6 is a little dicey with everything going on here, rightly so. So there's a little rundown of what's going on. You see, if you're watching the stream, you see the guy in the middle here. He's the big kahuna here, Shaun Kindopp from Agribition. Sharky just asked you if you're exhausted, tired yet, any of that. You're kind of probably running off adrenaline fumes, maybe different on Sunday.
Yeah, well, especially going after the music guy. He's got us all buzzing right now, so things are good. The playlist is hot at the Brand Center. The dirt is mint. We're ready to go.
Last night was the free night for the rodeo. You said it would probably fill up in about 11 minutes. I'm sure you weren't far off. Tonight, we go again. Tonight's the night where there's still tickets if you want to sit together. Maybe there's 4 of you coming. There's still tickets tonight.
Yeah, there is. And actually, we just released our holds, so there's a couple tickets that we just released for Friday and Saturday. If you are listening, those are going to go quick, so highly recommend going to Ticketmaster. But yeah, Thursday is really moving quite quick. So again, if you're looking to do some rodeo, highly recommend it. As again, we've got a new clown, we've got great music, high-end athletes. We got contestants going to the NFR. So if you want to watch high-caliber athletes, Brand Center.
It's really the biggest thing. You worked for the Regina Pats for years too, and we saw a heyday there. But really, the 4 days or 5 days, whatever it is, rodeo here at Agribition in that facility, that's as busy as it gets here all year.
Yeah, we're selling out 3 or 4, so we'll put over 24,000 people through the Brand Center here in the next 4 days. So it's and again, no bias. The energy, and again, you felt it last night. The atmosphere in the Brand Center was unreal. So again, we got 3 more nights of it, and let's go.
So people that are coming in, that maybe their first time at a rodeo, what are you going to tell them to look for? What's your favorite event to watch when it comes to town?
Again, all of them. But again, you got bull riding, again, saddle bronc.
I love watching the bull riding.
All the rough stock events are unreal. But even the guys on the timed event end, they're fast. Again, they're all professional, so the misses are so small.
Yeah.
If you're coming down with some buddies, you're looking for something to do, right, tonight or tomorrow or Saturday, and you're coming down, bring some fives. And I'm telling you, you can sprinkle. I don't know, maybe Sask Liquor and Gaming doesn't want to hear this, but barrel racing, we've sprinkled on barrel racing.
Yep.
And like we talked about yesterday, they get humming around, and anything in rodeo, the miss is so small.
Yep.
Right. And your day is done, or it could be your week's done.
Yeah. And you could have a great time, but you break the barrier and you get another 10 seconds. But if you're coming down, I'd be here already. We got bands getting ready to go on at the loading chute. We're a clean venue, so we got Bud Light flowing in the loading chutes. So yeah, things are good here on the property.
I love it. So everybody that's coming down, let's talk about the rest of the show, because you're not just the rodeo for Agribition. Let's talk about the rest of the show. We're here in the soccer center, and there's great displays all around us. What else is there for people to see in terms of the show?
Yeah, our trade show has been outstanding. We're lucky. We've had over 10,000 people come through the doors today alone, almost 11,000 yesterday. We've got 400 trade show exhibitors. We're looking here at Daggerman, so there's high-end equipment that you can see, but we've got over 400 exhibits, with 132 of them being brand new this year. So if you want to come do all your shopping, there's great samples of food. There's great shopping. And
there's the smell over here. Like, this is unbelievable. They were making soup and beef and greens, and now they got some sort of instant pot action going on. They dropped me off a menu. The smell is unbelievable.
Driving us crazy is what it's doing. It's driving
that's Canadian beef for you.
Yeah.
How many? The one thing I wanted to ask you, Kinner, was staff wise. Like, this is such an undertaking. You got everything under one roof, which is great, but just like staff and all that. How many are we talking about?
Yeah, so we're 11 full time throughout the year, and then we scale up a little bit after Thanksgiving. So we'll be about 30 paid staff. People that we pay part-time seasonal, and then we've got over 400 volunteers. We actually had too many volunteers where we almost couldn't staff enough people. So it's, again, the support we've seen from the community is just second to none, and we're so grateful.
Well, I appreciate you talking about the trade show, but what about the animals in the livestock center? You had lots of schools come through. I've seen lots of rugrats running everywhere today. Some of them tried to unplug all the wires a little.
Well, that's what it's all about. Understanding, agriculture is a huge part of Saskatchewan. So understanding where your food's coming from, it's it doesn't just show up on a shelf. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind the scenes. Like our producers, whether that's in the grain or on the beef side, are second to none. And, we've seen it throughout the pandemic. Agriculture was one of the things that really kept the country going.
So rodeo tonight, tomorrow, Saturday. You said there's still some tickets now that are probably going to be snapped up quickly for Friday, Saturday. And then tonight there are tickets available. Like, people just go to the box office or go online.
Yeah, I recommend going on Ticketmaster again. It saves you a drive down, and then you're in a little bit faster. But yeah, we've got 2 nights of party on the dirt, Friday night and Saturday night. So after the rodeo, if you're still feeling like you're not done.
Will Garrison be spinning the tunes?
Yes, Garrison and Matt on Saturday.
Garrison's going to be spinning the ladies, I think he said.
Oh, for a twirl? Yeah, no, we'll get you. You play that Nickelback song I told you about. Maybe it'll back to back with from Roxette. You're golden. Kinner, always a pleasure. Hell of a job, buddy. Like,
thanks,
you're doing
guys.
a great job.
Shaun, great to see you again.
Thank you guys for covering us. Getting rodeo on the sports cage is a big step, and we appreciate it.
Bring it in more. We'll be all rodeo. It is the All New SportsCage. We are streaming live from Agribition at sportscage.com. Garrison Panzer sounds like an absolute party.
You know what? That's all he does. He just goes to parties all over North America. He goes to parties,
and he wants to twirl. He wants to twirl around with some ladies on the dance floor, on the dirt.
So, ladies, Garrison,
young guy, yeah.
Handsome young man from Texas, looking for a dance partner.
Good
tonight.
Little accent.
Yeah.
We're at booth. I guess I understand we're at booth 733, right in the soccer center. If you want to go to the rodeo, come in. If you're listening to the show, walk in, say, "Hey, I heard you giving away rodeo tickets. We have a couple left right now. Maybe access to a little bit more if you're coming down and you want to go to the rodeo this evening." They're for this evening. This evening, yeah. Started the show talking CFL, talking what's going on. VA in Calgary. He had his presser yesterday, and obviously the first question was, what was his reaction to the news that he was the new Stampeder?
It all happened so fast, man. It happened so fast. Like, I was talking to Demario Houston, and we were just talking scenarios and things like that. And I told him, I was like, hey, I would love to come over there and be a piece to the puzzle and help us get back to where we need to be, and 10, 15 minutes later, I get a call from Rick Maiden, and he said, we executed a deal to Calgary. And I said, awesome, great, thank you guys. And after that, Dave called me and and it went like that. So it just all happened so quick, but I'm just so happy and thankful just to be part of a great organization, man. I've always wanted to, I said it the other day, but I've always wanted to play for Dave, man. And I've been knowing him since I was in college. He came and spoke to us at Eastern Washington one season, and have so much respect for him.
Okay, so then I like this one. This is the last clip we'll play. They asked him, how did things go down in BC when Nathan Rourke got there? And then also, is he going to be playing with a bit of his chip on his shoulder?
Yeah, I think every player has that in them, but it's no hard feelings or anything, man. It's professional sports. It's a business, man. Things happen like that all the time. Maybe not all the time, but they happen. And so you just have to keep going. And obviously, I'm going to have a little chip on my shoulder when I play those guys and things like that. But it's all part of the business. So like I said, no hard feelings. I'm just ready to get to work with these guys.
I think that's well said by him. Very politically correctly said by VA. But whenever you get, and I mean, Nathan Rourke showed up, had one practice, and they started him. Now, VA was banged up. He couldn't go. But still, it indicated that they were pretty high on him right away. And he knew the writing was on the wall. But like I said, he's a professional, right? There's other jobs.
Yeah,
another one.
I've never talked to him. Don't know him. Any kind of competitor, it's like, okay.
Really? You thought that guy was better than me, eh?
Now I'm going to stick it right. You know what I mean? Just like Cody Fajardo in Montreal. Like I asked.
He loves sticking it to the Riders.
I asked Farhan. Maybe I'll ask Arash this too, because Farhan's been around, knows him a little bit. Is Cody the kind of guy that's like, you know what? I'll nurture the Alexander now. I'll stay behind him. I'll be that guy. Or is he like, get me out of here? I'm circling every game we play you guys, and then I'm coming in to kick your arse.
Now, he's an unrestricted free agent right now. He can go wherever he wants, correct? I believe that's correct.
No, I think
we got to look that up.
Yeah,
we got to get that detail figured out.
There's so many like moving parts to this quarterback operation, and then it's like February 2nd, you can start talking to guys and all that. But I
believe he has another year.
He has another year.
Another year. Okay.
So, but they're willing. It sounds like if someone says, hey, you can come in and be a starter, that they'll work with them.
So here's the thing, though, if you're Cody Fajardo in Montreal, that guy's got to take your job yet. I mean, they've announced that they're really high on him and they want to play him. But if Cody Fajardo plays the guy in camp and in exhibition games, he's obviously going to get the spot.
No, they're going to run with Alexander.
You think they're going to give it away, are they?
Dream's over for Fajardo there, unless Alexander barfs all over himself or gets injured.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's just my thought. I am not a GM or coaching in the league. So thoughts.
We went around earlier on Trevor Harris and the Riders, and I still think that's the right move for the Riders to go back to Trevor Harris. Fajardo, then, my spot that he lands is Edmonton.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. But then again, it's like a second fiddle to Trey Ford.
To me, Trey Ford's not the guy.
I think at some point you gotta sink or swim, bud.
Well, you're gonna sink.
And the fans want him. If the new owner wants him, it's over. It's Trey Ford. Then you look at a backup, whoever. So let's circle back on this in hour two. A lot more to talk about there, plus a whole lot of hockey talk. Arash Madani is going to join us in hour two. We're live at Agribition. You want to go to the rodeo? Come by, stop by, say you want rodeo tickets. They're for tonight. It's the All New SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the All New SportsCage, live from Agribition. It's just me. It's just Barney. If you're watching the stream, you don't see Sharky. Legit, Sharky ran over to Everyday Beef to their display. They just finished making, I think it's pork mac and cheese. And he is over there talking to the ladies, getting some recipes. I got the recipe book here from them. They've been cooking. It smells unbelievable. Boys, you're going to have to let me know when we have Arash on the line because I can't. Got him, Kate. Here he comes. Sharky's on his way. You didn't bring any samples? What a rookie move. We are back live, and here, if you're watching the stream, there he is. Sharky's back. He got his pamphlet or whatever he wanted. The pork mac and cheese. You didn't.
No, I didn't
think
get
about grabbing any of that, eh? No.
I'm just signing up for the newsletter so I get all the recipes.
Jeez. Don't forget, it's Thursday night football at the Canadian Brewhouse. Wow. Your home of NFL football. Chance to win a trip to an NFL home opener of your choice. $1 off tankards and Bud Light tonight. If you're not coming to the rodeo, you want to go watch football, Canadian Brewhouse, all the details at CanadianBrewhouse.com. Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Christmas rolling around. You got to do that gift exchange thing. $25 gift, whatever, $30 Western Pizza gift card.
Oh,
absolutely.
Had it the other night. Went to Suspiro.
Western Pizza gift card. Also, if you're looking for catering options, if you're going to a potluck, be a hero. Take Western sauce, some dry ribs, a souvlaki.
Throw some wings.
And some wings. So let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. But first, the intro for the man, the myth, the legend, Arash Madani.
The All New Sports Cage and Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is brought to you by Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Oh, Rash, we can't see you, but we hear you're there. You can see us. I'm actually going to throw it to Colson. You wanted to ask Arash something to start this segment today.
So, Arash, do you think the Vikings are going to start Daniel Jones at safety like the Giants were? You know, that 47 career interceptions is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, Colson, that is a very good call by you. But it doesn't even come close to the move Sharky just made. By the way, Sharky, what a flex. Not only is not there for the start of the segment because he's getting pork mac and cheese, but makes sure he doesn't bring any for Barney. I mean, that is just knowing how, like, we talk about the analytics game, we talk about playing the edges. That's going for 2 when you're up 3. You know what I mean?
I'm cut from a different cloth, I guess, because I would have said, I understand. Can we just take the pot over? You come back empty-handed. I would have tried to bring the whole Instapot over.
Yeah, but you would have taken the pot to the trunk. Like, who's kidding who here? There would have been nothing for anybody else.
Community pot. Everybody. If you got a spoon, you're in. That's how we would have rolled.
Arash, you know the weather? We have Stanfield's underwear weather here in Saskatchewan right now. We need some supplies from your hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the recognition. Truro, Nova Scotia, Stanfield's underwear represent. I like it. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Anytime, brother.
And it's just getting colder. Yeah, this week. Send some our way. I'll trade you some pork mac and cheese for it. Okay, I'm watching the NFL game till halftime today. Wagering. I'm doing the Sports Select thing again, Arash, on this one too. I need it. It's never going to be a 3-point game. Like, this thing's a blowout at halftime. Put the locks on the doors, as Big George would say. All of a sudden, I come here, start working, look at the final score, 23-20. Like, I know Detroit is good, and you're really high on Detroit, but what happened? Where's the kink in the armor there?
So, okay, let's just stop real quick, because you may not have seen the end of the game.
I did not. No. Full disclosure.
Okay, so fellas, I need to tell you this, and this is without hyperbole. The last 30 seconds of the game might have been, and I'm not exaggerating, the most incompetent last 33 seconds in the history of professional sports. The Bears are down 3 points. Caleb Williams gets sacked on his own 40. They have a timeout. There's 33 seconds to go. It's 3rd down. They get 1 play off, only on 3rd down, incomplete, game over. It was, Sharky, I want to, the NCAA has an expression when they do their investigations into cheating. They call it a lack of institutional control. That's exactly what this is. If Matt Eberflus is allowed on the team plane to go back to Chicago with the team, then it is a failure by the Bears organization. This was an absolute disgrace.
They didn't use the timeout, is what you're telling me? Because I didn't watch it.
The fellows were watching it on the stream here. The guy, good work, Colson and Curtis.
So they put the last 32 seconds up. They got off a play, an incomplete pass, and that was it.
They didn't take the timeout.
He gets sacked. He gets sacked at his own 40, 41-yard line with 33 seconds to go to bring up third down. They're down 3. So from there, it's a 57-yard field goal, but you have a timeout. Tick, 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 tick. What are you doing? Like, the timeout doesn't carry over to next week. The timeout expires, Matt. It is like we talked about when the Bombers had 11 players on the field on the Brissett touchdown. We call that coaching malpractice. Like, this is with hyperbole. Okay, like, honestly, like, we're just joking around saying this. This is like bring Matt Eberflus in the middle of town square and everyone gets a rock. Okay, like, this is just like, did you forget to change your adult diapers, Matt? What happened here?
I agree. Yeah. I don't even know how that guy is still on the sideline, dating back to last year. But anyway, the other thing, at some point, why doesn't any coach on the sideline
call the timeout?
Why doesn't the quarterback call the timeout? I don't know what exactly the rules are in the NFL, but at that point, you've played the game long enough, haven't you? I would say to my 13-year-old team, I'd be like, and if all else fails, remember, we have a timeout.
I'm trying to think of a reason why they wouldn't call it. Like, were they saving it for the kicker himself? Like, what was the purpose of not calling it?
Stupidity.
Yeah. No, but like, okay, so you get sacked with 33 to go, okay? So the thought process is that we should be in hurry up and we should be able to get it down, get a snap off and play third down and then be able to have the benefit of the timeout.
No, that's the wrong way to look at it.
It is unfathomable. And Matt, this is the issue, guys. Afterwards, Matt Eberflus said, I'm happy with how the process of how things went, it just didn't work out our way. We're so caught up in talking about process and collaboration. We are not in the business of reality and wins. And in the reality and wins department, this is undeniable. That in the history of the National Football League, among coaches who have dealt with one-score games, there are 221 coaches who've played in 20-plus games that have come down to one score. Matt Eberflus's record at 5-17 is 221st overall. He's literally the worst coach in NFL history in one-score games, and this imbecile from 16 down at the half gets his team within a field goal, can't even get a kickoff with a timeout in his back pocket.
Opposite of our clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger Rogator Gleaner and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. The opposite of a clutch performer is Matt Eberflus.
The opposite clutch performer.
The Bizarro.
Yes, somebody should get a Massey Ferguson and dump a whole bunch of manure on Matt Eberflus's lawn. Like, leave old Paul McCallum alone. Like, come on. I think
they dumped it on the wrong house too.
Yeah, that's
how
right.
Mixed up.
And it was down the street from where I live now. But it's so the thing, and my last thing with the timeout, how I've always looked at it, even when you're playing Madden football, you take the time out because then you reset everything.
That's right. You get what you want.
Like, I understand. You could dump it off. You could run out. But you take it there, and then you reset, and then you say, okay, now we have nothing. We have no timeouts. Is everyone aware we have no timeouts? Okay, we're all aware. And so you never rush it. And then in the greatest league in the world,
Yeah, I'm really having
So I'll
trouble
tell you
wrapping
this,
my head around
fellas.
how the came to play.
I say this, and I think I appreciate, Barney, that you brought up Madden, right? Like, and we're talking about not the coach, not the broadcaster, but the video game.
Yep.
Way back when, my buddy Scotty told me this, and it's so true. He's like, our whole lives we were lied to that pro sports coaches know what they're doing. He's like, what Madden did was it taught us how to manage the clock and manage timeouts. And we realized when to use the timeout in a one-score situation, in an under 2-minute situation. And then we're watching on TV. We're like, wait a minute. I know when to hit select. I know when to call the timeout here. These knuckleheads don't, and they're running billion-dollar franchises? What are we doing here?
Well, they won't be knuckleheads there for long. If they're doing that, they'll be playing Madden in the basement pretty quick.
You've coached a lot of hockey in your day. I've coached a little bit. Played. Love it.
Yep.
You're out of timeouts in hockey. You're out of timeouts. I don't know when I learned this, and I was maybe 10 years old. Goalie, fix your pad.
Tape problem.
By time, wasn't it? Who? Oh, it was Wick. When Wick was coaching in the Southern Professional League, he'd throw pennies on the ice. You guys got to go pick those up.
No, but Barney, like the hockey equivalent of this. The hockey equivalent of this is having the puck in the attacking zone down a goal with 2 minutes to go, and the entire time you're in the attacking zone and you don't pull your goalie. That's what we just saw. That's literally what we just saw.
Yeah.
Where are you after this performance? Where are you on the Detroit Lions as a team?
Honestly, and that still, if they kick the field goal, it goes to overtime. I think they're the most. Now, they got a lot of injuries today. They had like 8 guys go down. To me, they're still the most complete team in the NFL. Like, gun to my head, win one game, other than, I guess, Kansas City because of pedigree, because of reputation, because of number 15 and 87 and the head coach. Outside of those guys in red, to me, like, Detroit can do so much with so many different guys on both sides of the football. And, like, to me, what sums up the Detroit Lions the best is they have themselves a kicker who a little over a year ago was selling bricks. And the dude hasn't missed.
Plug.
Yeah. Like, Jake Bates went 4 for 4 today. He kicked a 50-plus yarder a few weeks ago on a Sunday night to win. There are very few holes on this football team. And you talk about pass rush, you talk about offensive line. They have 3 running backs. They have 4 different receivers. They have a quarterback who's playing at an exceptional level. They went 1 for 4 in the red zone in the first half, guys, and they only had 16 on the board.
Yeah. Should have been a blowout.
I don't know. See, after this, and I didn't see it, and I didn't see the injuries, so I didn't see the end of the game. I was high on Detroit. I was buying Detroit stock, but I just think Philly is on an upswing. Philly's lines.
Philly's playing really well.
I just feel they look like they are gearing up for playoff football. See Lightning 300. Yeah, we got you on YouTube. He's saying, could the quarterback have spiked the ball? Yeah.
No,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
because it's 3rd and 23. Right? You spike the ball, it becomes 4th down.
Oh, it was 3rd down.
Yeah.
Right. So just get the snap off and run a play and get some yards. Turn a 57 into 52 even, which is manageable.
Take the wow.
Yeah. I'm cheering for Detroit. I like where they are in the NFC, but I agree with you that Philadelphia is coming on strong, and I think the AFC's 2 teams.
As a guy who doesn't give a rip about either of the, just Detroit fans, the Lions organization, it's like cheering for the Winnipeg Jets. I'm in. Yeah, I'm cheering for them.
Yep,
yeah,
I gotcha.
Let's go Detroit. What tonight? I'm just looking up. We are sitting at about 7:00. -3. Could I see some snow at about 8:00 in Green Bay? There's a lot of talk about Tua being not a cold weather quarterback. Is this a big game for him tonight?
I think it's a massive game for him tonight. You think about everything he's been through with the concussions and the rest, the fact that he's never won in Kansas City or Buffalo in a cold weather game in December or January. He's put up really good numbers against nobody the last few weeks. This is the game. This is the game where, like, and it's not about the playoffs. It's not about the record. It's about, all right, Tua, are you the guy or are you not? Because, you know, when Tua's healthy, he's done okay. But he's never really done it against a quality team other than Buffalo once. So it's great to beat up on New England. It's great to beat up on the Raiders. Green Bay's a pretty good team now. This is a big one. And I guess mathematically, guys, the Dolphins are still in it. But this is the statement game that Tua needs moving forward if he can keep himself healthy as to franchise quarterback status in this league.
Tomorrow, Raiders and KC. I don't even know if I'll watch this game.
Should be over by halftime.
To be honest, I'm not sold on KC as a team this year.
Really?
Nope.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if KC might. Okay. Yeah, I'll give them the AFC Championship game because the path they're going to have to go through KC. I think there's a lot of teams that can knock them off. I'm not. Mahomes has looked meh. Arash, what's your take?
The amazing part about Kansas City is they never cover, yet they're always double-digit favorites. They're getting through by the skin of their teeth, and I'm with you. I'm fully with you. I think the bigger issue, we're so caught up in Mahomes and Kelsey, and now they're getting Isaiah Pacheco back. Great. But why, remember this, guys, and Barney, you and I have talked about this a bunch. KC lost 3 games in the month of December last year, including Christmas against the Raiders. Instead of Thanksgiving last year, they got them on Christmas. And you're saying to yourself, they're done.
Yep.
And then they didn't lose a game the rest of the run from Christmas on after that loss to the Raiders. But what changed was their defense stepped up. And now their defense has become a liability.
I was going to say, I think that one of the key parts to them winning last year was Steve Spagnuolo.
Yep. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
They changed the way they played. Yeah.
Okay, shift quick. I know we're up against the clock here, guys in the studio. CFL news. Montreal, you called it a while back. Davis Alexander, 3-year extension in Montreal. You told us after the Grey Cup that they're moving on from Fajardo. What happens now?
Well, it's an interesting one. Like, moving on from Fajardo as starter. But let's remember this, guys. Suddenly, Cody Fajardo and Nick Arbuckle are not starting quarterbacks in this league. So what happens now with the last 2 Grey Cup MVPs, including the reigning Grey Cup MVP? Do they end up signing? Look, no team is going to have their starters stay healthy the whole year. So do they sign incentive-laden deals with the team they're at, where it's based on play time, based on starts, based on all that kind of stuff, where they're going to get significant bonuses? But isn't it funny how it all works out? Without Arbuckle, the Argos don't win the Grey Cup. Without Fajardo leading them down that 80-plus yard drive at the end of the game against Winnipeg last year, they don't win a championship. Now neither have starting jobs, but there's going to be ample opportunities for jobs, just not as QB1. So I just wonder the structure of the deals that they're going to get and how much is going to be based on playing time and the rest.
Oh, okay. Let's save the last one that we were going to talk about today till next week. Yep. Let's shelve it
because nothing will happen between then and now anyway.
Absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Hey, and we got your back out there on social media, man. People are just, and I love it.
Are they after for it? Are they after
Arash? Oh, geez, settle down, Pete. Everyone's a pro. Everyone's a pro. Everyone's a GM, right?
I love it.
Beauty.
It actually like you can't see me because you're fancy on location, but Colson and Curtis can. Like, I got a smile on my face. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Hey,
I do-
just
I do
keep
know you're
hating,
wearing
but
a
keep
Minnesota
watching and keep listening.
And I do know you're wearing a Minnesota Vikings shirt, though.
Yeah.
That much.
You know it. You know
I
it. Yeah.
sense it. All right, buddy.
Send some Stanfields. We need them.
There you go. There you go. One last thing, fellas. I know it's U.S. Thanksgiving, but honestly, thankful to be with you guys and thankful for our pal Brian Golly because he just continues to step up every year, all the time. And thankful to the guys back in the studio because, well, whatever we're talking about, the stream is always there with the great visuals. So appreciate you guys as always.
You know, those guys, they're peaking for the playoffs.
They are. They're coming around
back at the studio. It's going to be good. Yeah, we, you, Brian Galley, me, Sharky, the boys, we're going to sit down and have some GWs when you roll into town.
Look forward to it.
Right on. Arash Madani, coast to coast for Brian Galley. It is the All New SportsCage. We're streaming live at Agribition. When we come back, owner of Extreme Hockey, Donny Uhren, is going to join us. I got a scary story, safety issue story when it comes to hockey that happened to our family on Sunday. It's the All New SportsCage live on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM. It's the All New SportsCage live at Agribition today and tomorrow. Rodeo tonight. If you want to go rodeoing, it's going to be a good time. Around the area hockey-wise this evening, we talked about it. In Regina, we have the Prairie Junior Hockey League, little Junior B action at the Ritchie. It's Prairie Storm visiting the Regina Capitals.
I thought you said Fort Knox.
Sorry, Fort Knox. They're the top team in the league.
Nice.
So go and maybe the concession will be open at the old Ritchie. Depends what kind of. They can be in a really good mood,
or they could be in a really bad mood.
Yeah, but once that popcorn gets buzzing, you got to get
the
it.
extra butter.
Yeah, nothing in the SJHL this evening. Western Hockey League, the Pats start their road trip in Kamloops tomorrow. No NHL because no one's going head to head with the NFL.
No, they hog this Thursday.
American Thanksgiving. Joining us here, if you're watching that stream right there, he teed it up earlier. Owner of Extreme Hockey, Donny Uhren, coming by, looking dapper.
Just back from court. And
take a picture. You'll see it twice a year. Two events a year that I got to dress up for.
Looks really good, really good. Colin O'Brien's Man Shop, you said, right?
Absolutely.
Plug, yeah. They sponsor the.
That is a good looking tie.
Luke and Dave.
You should have seen the struggle getting the top button up there, Sharky. I've never had to suck in on my neck before.
I've had to do that. I know the drill.
This is Colin Lovequist been talking to a lot of clients at Agribition here when he's doing his show here. You guys are set up here. We're going to get to that in a bit, but I've been teasing Sharky with this. The one thing I wanted to have you on and talk about is hockey specifically, and kids are playing, and I know a lot of us think that we know everything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to equipment, and the thing that happened to us on Sunday was my son, he had his Achilles cut.
Right.
It went right through his sock.
Jeez.
There was blood. Luckily, it wasn't a full deep cut, or I don't know, maybe the skates weren't as sharp and all that. But immediately after that game, I text messaged you and said, do you sell the cut resistant socks? And you said, yes, we're doing. Just take us through. What is the technology there? I truly believe everyone should be wearing them.
Oh, I can't. Like I've always told you when we talk about protective, taking care of your dome is number one. Also with this cut resistance, you see a lot of players at NHL and old alumni coming into the project now where they're creating their own version of the cut resistant sock. Bauer has a great sock. I'll show you a little bit of Kevlar in there, but it is a mandatory item that I think every kid, doesn't matter what age group, has. Aggressive. Hockey's aggressive. It's fast. And we're seeing a lot more of these injuries come about.
So a cut what's in it? I'm trying to picture a sock that's got some.
It feels like a sock.
It feels just like a sock, like Sharky. You wouldn't even notice the difference. It's a stretch, kind of like your thinny sock. It's a very thin sock. Sports Excellence has a great sock, which is one of our buying group. Bauer has a great sock, CCM, and TGOC actually just came out with his own brand of cut resistant Kevlar socks for around the wrist and around obviously the Achilles protection. There's a little bit of Kevlar in there. There's also some proprietary stuff that we don't know, but I've seen some demos firsthand where we have a razor sharp blade going across it with an extreme amount of force, and there's still damage to the sock, but it doesn't actually get through or penetrate the skin.
I played before helmets and masks, so to have cut resistant socks.
We can tell.
Yeah, it's I'm not that sharp today.
Well,
But to me, that's just phenomenal. We talked about the wristbands, but they've been out for a while. That you started out wearing them on top more for the slash,
correct,
than you did for underneath for the cut.
Well, if you look back in the day, like back when the older guys, when you guys played and stuff, you would just use a traditional Nike or Reebok wristband just to have that protection there for a slash. Now everything's all Kevlar based because there's been so many injuries when it comes to the wrist or the Achilles with blades. And I think it went back, if I'm correct, it was Kane who got the first wrist slash there, the Achilles or whatever it was. That really brought some attention to this, and now it's been a direction of protection all the way through.
It's funny for me that the last time we had you on and we talked about something particular for equipment, it was skate sharpeners.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
You were talking about the model skate sharpener that you can travel wherever you are and plug into the wall and sharpen. And now we're talking how to prevent the super sharp skates from hurting you. So to me, it's the evolution of how the sport has changed and the equipment has changed.
Oh, completely. And you see these new automated sharpeners, like I told you, the consistency and the edge is so sharp that we're seeing actually equipment coming back that's been damaged. Like we're seeing pants that are getting cut. I don't know what it's just a turn since that Kane incident, but we've seen a lot more. It is a heavy increase of these blade incidents on the ice as opposed to just your typical injuries.
Is there another piece of equipment you put that's on the back of the shin pad per se, or that goes behind your skate? Is there something else that they're putting back there as well?
They actually have full Kevlar gowns where you can get a two-piece outfit that has Kevlar built right in, so it covers the wrist, the body. It's just completely cut resistant.
Which I think is the next step.
I think
where we go.
Absolutely.
And you know what? People have told me about this and they've talked about it, and I've been like, well, yeah, but what are the chances? What are the odds? And then when it happens like that, so parents out there, whatever, this isn't gospel. You parent the way you want to parent. I'm just saying, and we're talking like $30 or whatever for these socks, to think about what could have happened there. Where as a kid at that age too, to have your Achilles cut, I'm no doctor. Probably not a great surgery. How is that going to grow back? How's that leg going to be?
Yeah. Well, here's the funny story is that we have this conversation in the retail presence all the time where parents come in and they are $30 to $50 depending on the brand you go with, the new cut resistant sock. On the flip side, they look at a thinny that's $10. Like, I'm not going to spend the extra $30. It's not going to happen to my kid. It doesn't happen. And Barney being a good friend and roams on the ice and then hearing this incident, it's closer to home than you think.
Well, and again, I go back to even when we started wearing face masks. Right?
100%.
Lost my first tooth in the Ituna War Memorial. Nobody wore them. Like half the team didn't have helmets. Oh, let alone face masks, right?
You should go back to, they got a new barn there.
Yeah, I should. I think my tooth's behind the old one out. Zamboni took it out.
Thanks so much. Yeah, the portable sharpeners, which you guys sell as well. Yeah. Like I told you, ours is in Roman's room now. He sharpens his own. Gabrielle sharpens her own. It is so easy to sharpen skates nowadays. If you want to still take them to your sharpener or to Extreme, go nuts. But these things are unbelievable. The 100%. Other thing I want to talk about before I let you go here, Black Friday sales, right? Geez. You guys are here at Agribition. You got your setup.
We got our setup at Agribition here with our Yeti sale that we traditionally do every Agribition, which we love, and there's clearance all the way across. You've heard the gimmicks before. We actually just hit our social media platforms. The Black Friday event where you always have the anomalous 10-year-old item that's 60% off, and you're able to advertise
Sharky's face mask.
25 exactly.
You got some ultra tax I can swing by.
I got Sharky's original tax stick from when he played in his days. That's on for 75% off. But no, we are having a massive store-wide clearance. We are overstocked in Goldie protective skates, real sales, real discounts. We are not expecting stuff to last very long, not heavy stock and things, but we are going to have a massive 3-day event over the weekend. So if you haven't been by, you definitely want to get by if you're looking for Christmas presents or anything you're looking to do.
You see the Yeti setup they have?
No, I got to go see it. Is there camouflage Yeti?
There's camouflage. Well, we got the new camo line, the new tote line. Sharky, you got to come.
I got to come.
I got to get you
camo.
over there.
We need some camo Yeti.
Get some cut socks, just cut. You never know with you.
Yeah.
The way you dangle around out there.
Out the bush.
And Donnie, thanks so much.
Oh, my pleasure, guys.
Appreciate you. So much for coming by, and I know you got a busy night, and we'll get Sharky some camouflage Yeti here.
I'm gonna get you guys both a SportsCage camo Yeti from
I love it.
The other thing they do is like all the umbrella, right? All the corporate and team stuff.
Yep.
Like I said, we was on before. They got this engraver thing. You can get anything engraved, steel, metal, whatever.
Anything. We can customize any logo, anything. If you haven't seen Tarrington, go check us out. Anything you want on that logo, except for within reason. We'll stay in copyright.
Has to be legal. Has to be legal.
PG.
Yep. Go visit them here and check out if you're a Yeti guy, girl, whatever, over here. Just outside the hockey rinks where they usually are. They have the setup there. Donny Uhren from Extreme Hockey joining us. It's the All New SportsCage. We are streaming live at Agribition and as always on 620 CKRM. Dan Croft, Crofty Electric here at Agribition stopping by. I'm glad that you are back in your chair for this segment. So you got two young ladies over there now cooking something up at the beef. They're like the young chefs.
Hey, you guys, get out of the way. We can't see the cook. Keep moving. Keep moving.
It looks awesome. You got to love Agribition and everything that they're doing here. It looks like a Campbell's soup of some sort, maybe a mushroom soup. It's going to start smelling really good.
I can't see the chef. Guys, keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving.
No games in the SJHL tonight, like I said. Hoping the rink in Weyburn's good to go. Tomorrow the Wings welcome Humboldt. Big battle there. Melfort and the Battlefords. That was the Southie Mainline Chrysler Worth the Drive game of the week from Benny Walchuk. Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks. 2024 Grand Caravan Pacifica, Wrangler, and Wagoneer, and Hornets. Get $1,000 bonus cash right now, up to $20,000 off MSRP on the Ram 1500. That is in Southie Mainline Chrysler. Okay. And then, the one game in the Prairie Junior Hockey League tonight. Fort Knox and the Capital, 7:30 at the Richie Pats in action tomorrow in Kamloops. U of R.
Yeah. Got a little recap of the first half of the season. Cougars and Rams are most of the teams off to a great start, are having a great experience. Obviously, the Rams 3-5 in the regular season, defeat Manitoba in the semifinal, and love when they beat the Huskies for the Hardy Cup. That was special. I loved listening to that on the radio.
That's going to be a special. That's forever.
That is.
I was saying to Mark McConnell, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
I was saying to Mark, when they have the Rams dinner next year, how exciting it's going to be just to relive everything.
It is. It's very exciting. Coach McConkey did a great job with that group, and they should have beat Laval. They had Laval. They should have beat them. That would have put them in the national final. It would have been something else, but a great learning experience for that club. Congratulations to them so far. Men's basketball, they're 4-4 in the Prairie Division. They're at Mount Royal this weekend. They're in the playoff spot right now. Two of their losses in their 4 losses have been by 2 and 4 points. So they're in the mix. Mm-hmm. They're in the mix every game. Ben Kamba is the leading scorer for the Cougars men's basketball team so far this year. Men's hockey, young team. Oh my God, they're young. They've only got 3 guys in their 4th year, and the rest are younger than that. So that's young in Canada West. They've 7 empty net goals in 10 games. 10 losses, they get 7 empty net goals. So they're right there. They're just having a little trouble scoring. Carson White and Regina product Blake Heward is number 2 in scoring for that team in his first year with the club. Women's basketball, they are first in the Prairie Division. They're 7-1. Their smallest win of their 7 has been by 13 points. So they are dominating. Jade Belmore is the leading scorer for them. They are also in Mount Royal University in Calgary this weekend. Women's hockey, they have got a resurgence with their new coach. 7-3 with 2 overtime wins, 2 shootout wins. Paige Hubbard is the leading scorer. Women's hockey team is playing very, very well. It's nice to see.
7-3?
7-3. Right? Second place to U of A. For a change, the women's volleyball team has improved drastically. They sit 9th in the whole seed of Canada West, but they're 4-6. They got Manitoba in town this weekend, Friday, Saturday night. Both games are at 6 o'clock over at the kinesiology building there on campus. The women's volleyball team is having a much better season than they've had in the past, and it's nice to see them back in the mix. Cross-country championships were earlier this year. Jonathan Podolsky.
I was going to hope that, it's like, I hope they're done.
They're done.
It's a little cold out there.
Podolsky finished 4th in Edmonton in the Canada West Championship. He was a first team. I don't know how he became an all-star in cross-country, but he was a first-team all-star. Ian Teichler, second-team all-star.
Run fast and long.
I guess so. Brent McLean and Teichler were also all rookies. What do we got here? Oh, curling. The men's curling team will represent Canada at the World University Games, January 13th to 23rd in Torino, Italy. Team skipped by Joshua Bryden. I think if anybody does curling in Regina, it's the Bryden family. Joshua has taken the U of R over to World University Games, and hopefully they have a great tournament over there at that event.
We talked to him last year.
We did
when they were getting ready they were at Nationals.
Yeah, they were. They had a great Nationals. Yeah, beat a New Brunswick team, I believe, to win it all. And finally, the men's golf team at the U of R. Mm-hmm. They're only in their 3rd year of the program. They play out of the Wascana during the summer as they prep for the Canada West Championship. They finished 8 of 9 at the Canada West Championship. Jackson Wingert was the top golfer. It was in Kelowna, and remarkably, the Kelowna team, UBC Okanagan, won the championship. So that's your U of R wrap-up for the first half of the season.
There we go. Speaking of Kelowna, we're going to have voice of the Kelowna Rockets, Regan Bartel, joining us at 5:30 to talk about the Memorial Cup being awarded to Kelowna yesterday.
I heard you guys talk about that yesterday, and
I thought it was going to be Medhat.
So did I. Or Spokane. I was with you. I was on one of those two franchises, seeing where Kelowna is in the standings, knowing how far back they are, unless they gave some great financial pitch or otherwise. And Kelowna's had it before. They've had it a couple of times, actually, I think.
They were supposed to get it at COVID.
Well, maybe that's why they got it back. But I thought Medhat was going to be the leader for sure.
And Medhat's going to be good next year. But now, does McKenna stick around?
I heard that conversation. I think McKenna stays there. I think his agent says you just stay where you are.
Bet a beer?
I'm down a beer and a pizza already. Why wouldn't I bet another
I'll
one?
go double or nothing on the beer. I'm keeping that pizza tight to my chest vest region. I'm holding that in my back pocket.
Spiro,
forever.
Look out. We're coming in.
Yeah,
we're coming in,
I'm going like whatever extras that they can throw on there. You talked hockey and you talked empty net goals.
Yep.
CNC production company. You know where I'm going with this. Yesterday in the NHL, former Moose Jaw Warrior Braden Point. It was on SportsCage Twitter. If you saw it there, Braden Point gets a hat trick for Tampa Bay against Washington. But you guys are going to have to let me know when you're playing it because I can't see. But it was Charlie Lindgren, goalie for the Washington Capitals.
Yep.
Who turns and puts it shoots it in his own net. It was obviously
he had the over. I that's all I can think. Charlie had the over on the play. Yeah.
Would not be something that came out.
Yeah.
No, it was interesting. And for the hat trick, there you go. If you're watching the stream, you just saw it. Unfortunate there. You know what? The thing that I was thinking today, it's surprising that it doesn't happen more with the speed of the game these days. Like those goalies, their heads are on swivels all the time, just like all the players are.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen more. And we don't see the Steve Smith shooting it off your goalie in more. Like things are just moving so fast.
You think about not only are they moving fast, but the ability to make that play and handle that puck. And you always think you've got it clean on your stick. And this is what would happen to Lindgren. He thought he had it clean on his stick and obviously didn't went off the heel or something else on him. But the puck doesn't lay flat for you. It's not like a golf ball that lays still for you so you can make the shot or take the putt. The puck doesn't lay flat for you all the time, and lots of times it's got its own mind made up where it's going to go, and you don't necessarily control it. So that's the bad luck for Mr. Lindgren.
Capitals still won 5-4, which is good for Lindgren. And no games in the NHL tonight, as we talked about. Tomorrow, plethora, abundance, whatever word you want to use, because it's the day after American Thanksgiving. Football's got to rest till tomorrow night. They now want to take over the Friday gig, but we have hockey starting at our time here in Sasky, 12 p.m. with the Rangers, Flyers. Then you got Blackhawks, Wild, Panthers, Hurricanes, Canucks, Sabres, Preds, Lightning, Caps, Islanders, Devils, Red Wings, Flames, Blue Jackets. That's an emotional one.
Yep.
The Flames are in
all the Canadian
Columbus.
teams are south of the border. Yep.
Kraken, Sharks. These are just afternoon games that I'm rattling off. Kings and Ducks. And those are all the afternoon games. So yesterday, a lot of people are because the Jets were in Los Angeles last night. I took the Jets. Seems that when I take the Jets, it's like they're only 3 losses of the year. So everyone's talking about, oh my God, look, there's nobody in the lower bowl. Look at all, no one's at the game. No one, Los Angeles, blah blah blah. Okay, if you're talking that, and you've never seen the video of the Los Angeles freeways the day and night before American Thanksgiving, go and look that up and then go,
how would you get to the game?
Okay, maybe there's something here.
There's a traffic issue.
Like Los Angeles, New York, I'm even going to throw Dallas. Like Vegas. Vegas is different. But even when Phoenix was around, there are so many things to do in these cities that, and if there's college football, college basketball, hockey, the diehards will go. But it was the day before Thanksgiving. They're playing Winnipeg. Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of people in that stadium because it would take who knows how long for a lot of them to get there. They're like, no, abort this one. We are out.
We'll come back for the Friday afternooner.
Yeah, it's like when people I find in Canada, yes, we are tough. Yes, we deal with cold. Yes, we deal with snow.
But we don't deal with traffic.
When they shut down, like if they have a massive storm somewhere, like Atlanta, was it a couple of years ago? It snowed in Atlanta, and we were all laughing. Oh, everyone's staying home from school. Ha ha ha. Yeah, okay. Millions of people. They are not used to it.
They don't know how to. They don't know how to drive, survive. They don't have the. They don't have the material.
And why
the
would
clothes.
they? Why? Yeah. You don't live there to get winter tires and bundle up. So if this happens once every 15 years, anything in the Eastern Seaboard, when there's snow days like New York. Have you been to New York?
It's a different snow too. It's not like the snow we had here that was like nice and fluffy and it lands and you can blow it away.
It's the damp.
It's wet. It's soaked with water. It's ridiculously thick. It's hard to move.
Like if it snows, if it snows in Green Bay tonight, off the lake, like that
Cleveland Pittsburgh game where it was snowing,
But it's like we don't understand, and then a bunch of you listening have driven in the Eastern Seaboard. It's an absolute mess. So now you got millions upon millions of people, and now you're gonna dump all the snow. Yeah, everything gets shut down,
and they don't have the right vehicles, and they don't have the right tires, and they don't have the right wardrobe. They don't have any of it.
They're not driving from Regina to Vibank.
No,
it's a little bit different. So that's where the Los Angeles game last night, and people are just ragging on how there's no one at the Kings game, and I'm like, check out the Los Angeles freeways tonight.
You brought up the Rangers earlier, and I've been following it a bit just because it looks like it's going to be the biggest fire disaster going on in the NHL right now.
Let's talk about that in the next hour. We're up against news here. It is the All New SportsCage. We got Glen Suitor. We got hockey talk. Whole bunch more.
Regan Bartel.
Rodeo tickets. Regan Bartel talking Kelowna. We are live at Agribition on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. It's the All New SportsCage live at Agribition. We're meeting all kinds of people. Can we say who that was?
Sure.
A friend of yours, an acquaintance. Loves senior hockey.
Yep. Loves hockey, period.
Stop by.
One boy plays for the Cougars.
Oh, right on.
Yep.
Stop by. Can you say what he does for a living?
He's a police officer.
The cool part of it, though.
He's on the cattle rustling crew.
I had no idea that there was such a thing.
Oh, it's big. It's big. And it covers the whole province. It's a big job.
Does he ride a horse?
I don't know. I think they could just stay in a pickup truck for what they got to do. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That would be the stories that he would have, I bet.
Well, the characters he would meet for sure would be something else. Yeah. So cool guy. Does a great job.
Do a ride along with them. Do they still do that?
I think you can ask. Yeah. I think you can. You might have to buy the coffee and the lunch, but I think you can ask.
Oh, that's
an easy make. Yep.
The young ladies are next door here. They've all wrapped up for the day. If you're coming to Agribition tomorrow, everyday beef. The last thing they must have been 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
It's a nice ground beef, noodles, mushroom soup.
It was delicious.
It took me back to like my living single life days. That was one of my go-tos. I think maybe every guy in the history of the world did the ground beef, mushroom soup, noodles.
I don't think
hamburger helper kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Homemade hamburger. I don't think enough people know what it's like to open the fridge and go, what am I going to make out of what's in here? Right? I got some hamburger, I got some noodles, and I got a can of soup. What am I going to do? That's supper. You got to make it work.
And you're cooking for one.
Yeah,
it's hard cooking for one. Like, my mom now lives by herself, and then there's other people out there, older, younger, whatever. When you're cooking for one, things are a lot different. That's where your Sherwood Co-op, you go into there and they have, meals for one person. I'm like, auto, easy. That's what we need.
I never forget, I think one time I opened up, there was a can of olives, some chicken, and and I think I had a thing of vegetable soup. Was the extent of what I had.
That does not sound good
It wasn't.
at all.
It wasn't. But I didn't go hungry. But it wasn't good. So sometimes you got to make things work. If you're living as one.
If you're not at Agribition tonight, you're not coming to the rodeo. We got another 2 rodeo tickets too. If you're listening and you're coming by here, stop by the booth 733 and say, "Hey, heard you. I want to go to the rodeo." 2 tickets to tonight's rodeo. Another 2 dropped off. Nice of you. And if you're not coming, it is Thursday night. Go to the Canadian Brew House, watch some NFL football. You got a chance to win a trip to the NFL home opener of your choice. They also have $1 off tankards and Bud Light. All the details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com or Canadian Brew House, 2 in Regina and 1 in Moose Jaw. All right, let's go back to talking CFL football with our man on the left coast.
The All New SportsCage with CFL and Saskatchewan Rough Rider legend Glen Suitor is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
Glenn, when you were a single guy, probably playing for the Riders, you'd go into your fridge, I'm sure, a lot of times and go, "What am I going to cook here?" What was Glen Suitor's go-to when he was a bachelor?
I can't remember the name of the product, but it came in a big cup, and it was simply add boiling water, and you had a cup of noodles. It might have even been Cup of Noodles was the name of the product. That was a go-to for sure because they were easy to store. You could leave them in there for a month; it didn't matter. And the other was a box of Kraft Dinner that I had it down to a system where I could boil the noodles or the macaroni or whatever it is. I could boil that in a pot, have the cheese mix and some extra cheese that I'd put in it ready to go in basically the same setup, and then I'd stir it with the edge of the box. So I basically only had to wash 1 pot and 1 fork after this macaroni and cheese disaster. So I totally relate to what you guys are talking about. Open the fridge, whatever's in there, I'll think of something.
That's dinner. Yep.
I saw my wife walk in here about half hour ago.
Yep.
An absolute flyby, waves, nice of her. I am worried on this, the size of these trade shows. When next time I see her,
shopping?
Auto shopping. What she's going to have in her hands, in bags, in something.
Well, she's not buying one of those saddles we see down the way.
How much is a saddle? I was asking that question. What's a saddle run?
Depends how much you want to spend.
Give me a ballpark.
You could spend 10 to 20 grand in a heartbeat.
Oh, I don't know that kind of.
Yeah, but
I don't have a horse.
That's probably
too.
A $3,500 saddle.
Need the horse first.
Yeah, you should have.
I should talk to our buddy from the RCMP there.
He'll round you up one. Yep.
There's maybe a market, a used market. Okay, Glenn. I don't know where you want to start. I want to go with Mark Killam to Edmonton as the hot topic today. There's, out on social media, some of the experts are saying he's the front runner there in Edmonton now. Is that a stretch maybe to call him the front runner? What are you thinking? If you're hearing anything, what do you think there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the front runner. I would say, the top probably 3 prospects that Ed Hervey's looking at. But there's going to be a process here for Ed Hervey, and he may be well along that line already and well into the journey. But Ed is going to have to sit down, probably already has, with Trey Ford, and if he walks out of that meeting feeling comfortable that this guy is potentially our starting quarterback and could be a franchise player. And it's interesting to me on just a little side note here before I finish that thought. This comparison that Davis Alexander has been anointed now, and I like the kid. I think he's great, and I think he's got a huge upside and a great future ahead of him. But for some reason, Davis, with a lot of the experts, Davis Alexander is a lock and has pushed Cody Fajardo out of Montreal, and we still have a question mark about Trey Ford. I don't understand it. I really don't. when you just look at the stats, the numbers, the athleticism, Trey Ford has started more games, has won more games, has shown us, whether you're a casual fan or an expert, has shown both ends of that spectrum how athletically gifted he is, to a point where it's not comparable. Like, you don't say, well, he kind of runs like Doug Flutie. No, he's better runner than Doug Flutie. He can make he can make the throws from the pocket, but he's not Ricky Ray. Well, he's made many throws like Ricky Ray from the pocket. I'm not comparing him to these guys yet, but I'm saying that it just is. It's a huge question mark for me why people will not say that Trey Ford is a potential superstar in the league based on what we've seen, but yet Davis Alexander is automatically one of the guys that everyone thinks is going to be that guy. And again, taking nothing away from Davis. So, I think, having said all of that, and I'm sorry I got on my side rant, but to me, this is about Ed Hervey, his comfort level with Trey Ford being his guy, because that affects, in my mind, who the head coach is. So if Ed Hervey is thinking, you know what, I don't think we're going to go with Trey Ford. I didn't like what I heard in the meetings, and I'm not saying he did this. I'm saying this is one end of the spectrum, and we're going to go with a veteran. We're going to try and get Cody Fajardo into Edmonton. We're going to try and get Jake Mayer into Edmonton, and then we'll have McLeod Bethel-Thompson and Jake Mayer, and we'll go with veteran guys. If that's the case, then he doesn't need to bring in Buck Pierce or a guy that really knows a quarterback well and that position well as a head coach. He could bring in a defensive expert as a head coach. It could change his priority list when it comes to the head coach. If he walks out of that meeting saying, Trey Ford's my guy. Now, he's got to make the team. He's got to do all of that. No, you're not given anything at the pro level. But if he walks out of that meeting saying, Trey Ford's my guy, well, then, you almost would think a Buck Pierce would move up that priority list, maybe even ahead of Mark Gillam.
I wonder how much first off, it's going to be funny because we know how this operation works. Somebody's going to take out what you're saying. It's going to be on social media by 8 tomorrow morning. It's going to be Glen Suitor said Trey Ford is better than Doug Flutie. Trey Ford is a better runner than Michael Vick. It's like a game of telephone on social media. It's like, no, we get what you're saying, Glenn. We totally get what you're saying. And then the other thing too that I think is like, does the owner have a play in this? Is the owner tied to everyone? But sorry, Sharky, you wanted to go.
Well, I did, and I'm not a Trey Ford fan for different reasons, and I don't have an opinion on Davis Alexander because I think the size is too small to review and say we're going to anoint this guy as a starting quarterback. He's had some good games and where he's got to play, and I give him credit for that. Trey Ford, there's a larger sample size on. My thing with Trey Ford is he's a runaround guy. So he makes great passes after 4 defensive tackles have got exhausted and can't chase him anymore. And the defensive backs are tired from chasing receivers. I think Trey Ford is a runaround quarterback, and he's not a quarterback that's going to just stand in the pocket and throw you the ball. He's going to run around and try to make things happen. What they're doing in Montreal, I don't see why they would come out with that statement. There was no need to. They could have said they're bringing back Alexander and Fajardo, and made them battle for the job, if you will. I think it's a risk on their part to put all their eggs in that basket, but I'm not quite the same fan of Ford that you are.
Well, it's interesting, Sharky, because let me start with the running and throwing the ball on the run, discussion, because I hear that quite often. In fact, I don't have the numbers in front of me because it was a game, late in the season when Trey Ford was starting, and we have an extra stats guy in the booth, and I often ask that person to, track something for me. Take a look at Trey Ford, for instance, and tell me how many of his completions and incompletions came from the pocket and how many came from when he was on the run. And he was, in that particular game, I think he started out something like 17 of 19 and 90% of those throws were from the pocket out of shotgun. And, I think if you're, you're not wrong that one of his great superpowers is when he is out on the run. And one of the reasons their run game opened up so well was when Trey Ford was added to the lineup and defensive linemen had to worry about Ford on the edges and his tailbacks, between the tackles. So, a lot of that is a trickle-down effect for an athletic quarterback. And in that regard, if you only had a guy, let's just say for a second that you're right, Sharky, and Trey Ford is only good outside of the pocket. He's only good when he runs, and that's not enough. Let's just say that for a second.
Okay.
Well, okay, Damon Allen was that. And Damon Allen was good enough
to argue with you then, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he was. Tracy Ham was that.
Then there's the cerebral part of everything.
Was the runner, but yeah. I
appreciate that more when you explain it that way. I really do. That means a lot more when you say it that way, that those guys, and although I saw them more as pure passers than runarounds, but I do remember Damon Allen and Tracy Ham creating a lot of havoc when they got outside the tackles.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just listen, we don't know if Trey Ford can take a team to a championship yet. We don't know if Nathan Rourke can do that yet. We certainly don't know if Davis Alexander can do it yet. I really like Davis Alexander, but he's been anointed. I mean, a 3-year contract, he's basically the starter in Montreal next year. So now it's, okay, you've given him that role, and most of the experts across the league have said, well, yeah, of course. I mean, did you see how he played? I loved how he played. But it's a little early to say he's, taking you to multiple Grey Cups. And Trey Ford's in the same boat, and yet one guy is being talked about like he's, we're not really sure. We're not really sure about him. Well, you're pretty sure about Davis Alexander. How are you not sure about Trey Ford? He's won more games on a team that wasn't a championship team. That's another aspect of this.
Yeah,
Montreal has a championship team.
Yeah.
And so I want to ask a different question on that same note. Fajardo was obviously the Grey Cup MVP and a big part of their team 2 years ago when they win the Grey Cup. Now they're literally throwing him away a year later. I mean, Regina was a bad team at the time. Had to pin it on somebody. He came out of here and went to Montreal and played like gangbusters. Why has Montreal given up so quickly on him?
I think sometimes, it comes from a lot of us in the media that create these narratives and just by always discussing a quarterback as if, no, we're not really sure. I think that probably trickles into management and into coaching staffs and things like that, which is really too bad. I mean, that's a guess, but it's really too bad if that happens. I mean, I hear you on Cody Fajardo. I don't understand how a guy can take a team to the West Final, be a goalpost away from a Grey Cup appearance as the starter in Saskatchewan, have a team that really struggled. And let's be honest, that team was undisciplined that next year when Cody didn't play well, and they were just all for their own, it was a selfish team at the time. Let's be honest about it.
Yep.
And they got rid of a lot of those guys, and they're building something really special. And that was the bad year for Cody. Then he goes and wins a championship in Montreal and has them, a drive away from winning that Toronto until it got away from him late. But they weren't out of that game in the East Final this year. So, and now he's just like, well, Cody, we can get rid of Cody, and we've got a good young guy behind him. I don't know. Sometimes I think you take for granted, A, how difficult the position is, and B, what happened to it's a result-oriented business. What happened to that? Because if it's result-oriented, then Cody Fajardo should be the starter in Montreal.
What do you think is going through Cody Fajardo's head right now?
What do I got to do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know him as a competitor.
Exactly, Barney.
Yeah.
No, Barney, that's exactly what he's doing. Listen, he's trying to be professional, and when he gets in front of a mic, he will be professional. Just like I was listening to the media availability for Vernon Adams today, and how professional he was about, what do you think about what happened in Vancouver? With Nathan Rourke returning and all of that. He goes, you know what? It's a business, and I understand it. Like, they're going to say that. Cody's going to say that. But that's exactly what Vernon Adams thought last year, and it's exactly what Cody Fajardo thinks right now. He's going, really? What do you need from me more than I gave you than taking you to a championship season and then to the fourth quarter of the East Final the very next year? Yeah, we didn't finish. We didn't get it done that year. We didn't go back. I don't know. It's crazy to me sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So does he say, listen, we see it in every other sport. Let's look at an exit plan here. I don't want to be here. Or is he not that guy?
Yeah, I think it would be very difficult situation, and Cody would not be bad in the locker room. He will be fantastic in the locker room. If he and Davis Alexander on the same roster next year, then he'll do everything in his power to support him. But I guarantee you, he's thinking, okay, you know what? Let's move on. I think about it's a different position, guys. But Justin McInnes told me this year. I asked him, why did you sign? Why did you leave Saskatchewan and sign in BC? And he said, because BC showed me that they really wanted me. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about even opportunity. I had to make the team, and I had to earn my opportunity on either side, on either team, whether it was the Riders or the Lions. But you know why? I got a call from the coach. I got a call from the president. I got a call from the starting quarterback. And they all said, Justin, we really want you as part of our team. And he goes, that was it for me. I felt like I was wanted there. It's not like you're a fragile human being and you can't, live with rejection. That's the life. But there is human nature involved here. And I guarantee you, when you get that call from the starting quarterback and the GM and everybody else saying, hey, we really want you, here's the money we can give you, I'd rather go to where I'm wanted. And that's what I'm sure Cody will be thinking about right now.
So 3 phone calls over one.
Wanted in Montreal.
Something as simple as an extra phone call or as simple as an extra communication might make the difference towards where a guy signs or not. If there's a simple message there for every coach and GM in every sport around the world.
Absolutely. It's a great point, Sharky, and it doesn't matter the level. And be all in. If you want this guy, hey, you can always cut a player. You can always trade a player. That everyone understands that's the world. But when you're on the phone with them, be all in. Just like Corey Mace was all in when he interviewed for that head coaching job in Saskatchewan. He didn't go in there saying, well, I'd like to. Yes, I'll probably move here. There was no doubt. He said, I want this job, period. I'll do whatever's necessary to get this team right. And that be all in.
Yep. Okay. Has it never been more important to have not even a serviceable, a solid backup quarterback in this league? The way, and I don't know, it's just the way the athletes are now, the way the defenders are now, the turf, who knows what. Nobody's making it through a full season anymore the way we used to see the Damon Allens, the Anthony Calvillos, the Tracy Hams, Matt Dunnigan. Well, Dunnigan had quite a few injuries, but is it never been more important, Glenn, to have somebody in the backup role that can win you football games?
Yes, and it's not only just the backup in case of injury, but it's the development of the next guy. And so that's why when they decided that the league office decided that they were going to go to 2 quarterbacks on the roster, but make it an option for some teams, and most teams put 3 on them anyway. But I was totally against that. I thought that's crazy. This is the most difficult position to to be good at in any sport, in all sports. The quarterback position has the highest degree of difficulty. And so we're going to just not worry about developing a guy. I mean, you have to have not only 1 and 2 that you can win with, but 3's got to be your next one. And hopefully one of 2 and 3 can be your short yardage quarterback, because I wouldn't put a starter in to short yardage ever. I would never do that. And I hate when they do that. And they say, well, he's our guy and he's our starter and he can take it. Why would you risk an extra hit
The poke in
on
the
your
eye.
franchise quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just it's insane. So again, this is clearly off-season radio, because I'd use different language when it's when it's in the regular season and I'm interviewing coaches every week. But hey, you know what I mean, guys. Like, it is important, Barney, to have 2, but I say it's important to have 3. And in fact, I'd have 1 on the practice roster too, or at least on your neg list, telling him the playbook. Giving him as much information as you can do comfortably without giving away secrets, obviously, but so that he is prepared when you have to make that phone call to bring him into camp.
All right. Geez, already half past the hour. Let's regroup. We'll chat on Tuesday. Who knows what we'll be chatting about come Tuesday. But it's cold here. Agribition is absolutely, but you should be here, Glenn. You know how good Agribition is, but it's cold out.
I love it. I love it, man. I love the rodeo. I used to go to the Stampede in Calgary with buddies. Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's good times. All right, Glenn, have a great weekend. Talk to you on Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Thanks, Glenn.
That is press coverage with Glen Suitor for Quality Tire, 9 locations across Saskatchewan. Never been a better time. You need winter tires.
You need them.
QualityTire.ca. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to voice of the Kelowna Rockets from Swift Current, Saskatchewan originally, Regan Bartel, after Kelowna was awarded the 2026 Memorial Cup. It is the All New SportsCage, streaming live from Agribition at sportscage.com. Glen Suitor, great conversation. Could have went a little bit longer. I mean, this off season now, like we have lots to talk about.
We do. The off season has presented itself with some interesting challenges coming up. Interesting conversations. I still the Edmonton coaches. I think it's between Campbell and Jackson. I do, but and again, that's more of a rewash of previous coaches. I think Jarius Jackson did a good job there, and if the owner and him can get along, I think that's a spot to go.
Yeah, there's probably so many things that we don't know about, just like anything. It's like, oh, how come you didn't hire him to be your new CEO? Well, because you don't know everything behind those walls.
That's right. We talk a lot, but we don't know that much.
Part of life. Boys, cue me when Riggs is ready. If good to go, live radio.
We can't see the guys in the booth.
It is awesome. Usually our WHL report is for extreme hockey and sport. We had Donny Uhren on earlier today. Massive Black Friday sales. You got to have up to 50% off select product. He said they're blowing things out. They're overstocked. They got a lot of stuff in that basement. They're like, let's just get rid of it.
He's got my old CCM UltraTax. They're on sale. 70% off.
Yeah. They should send them straight to Swift Current, to the Saskatchewan Hockey Hall of Fame. And they got their Yeti display here at Agribition. They're just out where the usual Extreme Hockey Pro Shop is. They're just set up there. I had no idea there's that many things made that Yeti makes.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is intense. So, yeah, go and check it out at the Cooperators here at Agribition or at the regular store Black Friday sales for Extreme Hockey and Sport. We're talking Western Hockey League action. We are joined by voice of the Kelowna Rockets from Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Regan Bartel. Regan, it is a beautiful Saskatchewan day. The wind is blowing. The snow's coming down. One of those days you just miss.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I remember, the good old days driving my CRX in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. CRX is it's a Honda. It's a 2-seater. Cool vehicle, but, man, that thing, trying to get through snow. in Swift Current when there was a heavy snowfall. Many a time I would wake up my roommate. I'd say, hey, buddy, help me out here. I can't even get out of the driveway. It's brutal. I can't even make my way to the radio station. Oh, the days where, you'd hop out of the vehicle and you'd push that vehicle as hard as you could to try to get through the snowdrift. Not an easy task and a little tough on the back for sure.
Little known fact, Sharky, Regan Bartel. I was a young whippersnapper. We were both young, but I was a young whippersnapper working the newsroom in Swift Current, the radio station. Regan was the play-by-play voice of the Broncos. My first ever double coffee.
Yeah.
Regan Bartel bought it for me one morning from Robin's Donuts in Swift Current, top of the hill there. Seriously, first time I've ever had a double coffee. Regan bought Everett Hindley and I coffee one morning, and I was like, this is what I've been missing my whole life. Well, no wonder everybody lines up at these places for that. No, but always great to talk to you, Regs. Big news yesterday. Hey, I'm not first to admit, I was surprised. I thought it was going to go to Medhat, maybe Spokane, but Kelowna lands the Memorial Cup yesterday. Did it come at a bit of a surprise for you, a guy that's so close to the organization?
Well, before I get to my answer, just to let you know, when I was working at Swift Current, when I was cutting my teeth, I was making $750 a month working at the radio station there. I have a pay stub I have kept. And because I thought, okay, I got to document this. So $750 a month. And that's the reason why I lived in my parents' basement until I was 25, because there's no way I could make ends meet. As for the question with Medicine Hat, I thought the Tigers were going to be on the inside. I really thought that they were the team or the organization that was going to win it. I think everybody believed that because of Gavin McKenna, obviously, and the possibility, or maybe the real fact that he's going to be a first-round NHL draft pick, could be taken first overall, next year. And so it just was all lining up that the Tigers were going to be the team, and they're going to be a very good team next season. They got a tremendous building. But here's the key here. In my opinion, location. Medicine Hat's arena is in a horrible spot. I mean, and again, I'm from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. I've been to Medicine Hat many times. I'm a prairie boy, so I'm not trying to dance all over Medicine Hat. But where the building is located is not ideal. And there are some restaurants around there. There are some hotels. But if you see where Prospero Place, where the Kelowna Rockets play their home games, if you see where it is situated at, it's in the downtown core. It's in the Arts District. You've got pubs. You've got restaurants. You've got hotels, obviously, there, right on the waterfront. It's just a way better location. And so that is probably one of the key reasons why the Rockets got it and the Tigers didn't.
Okay, if that was the case, Saskatoon would never get the Memorial Cup because there's nothing around the arena, and they'd had the Memorial Cup. So I don't think that was it. There had to be more to the pitch that Kelowna put in front, maybe Medicine Hat or Spokane did.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I agree because, Saskatoon did get it, and I've been there many times, right? I mean, you go around that facility, too. It feels like you're in the Bald Prairie. I mean, there is some amenities nearby,
bad locations,
but not a lot. Yeah, the location isn't great whatsoever. But I think when you look at the Rockets, too, what happened in 2020, I don't know if there was a sympathy. The Rockets were trying to play the sympathy card. I know that for sure because Dan Neer, the WHL commissioner, he did say Kelowna won it on merit alone. He says, okay, yeah, sure, they lost it in 2020 due to the pandemic, which is a shame. The Rockets, shot their gun, and they made some massive moves to get a real good quality team, and they lost a lot of draft picks, and then that tournament never came to fruition. So, I mean, it was a tough road to hoe for the Rockets to get back to where they are today. But again, I think when you look at location, success of the tournament back in obviously 2004, it's been 22 years since. The Rockets have hosted. I know Medicine Hat hasn't hosted before. And Brandon, I think, what was it, in 2010, something like that. But again, at the end of the day, you look at the Rockets, the success that they've had as a franchise. This will be the 6th Memorial Cup that they will attend. This one, obviously, as a host team. But still, I think the track record speaks volumes.
But they're not as far back as you think. And they're above 500 hockey team right now.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, Riggs. You're with the team day in, day out. Like, what kind of team is shaping up here for next year? Are they a little bit underachieving this year? I know the BC division is very tough. The Regina Pats are going to find that out here over the next week. What kind of team are they building for next year, Riggs?
Yeah, it's going to be tough, right? Because this is a team where they've got some good NHL prospects, and a good example would be, of course, TJ Ginla. That would be the big name, obviously, and that's the player they hope he returns next year. But that's not a given because, again, he's a first-round pick of Utah, the Utah Hockey Club, and I think Utah wants to push TJ into the NHL as quickly as they can, so likely he'll play there next year. At least that'll probably be Utah's hope. And so unless TJ somehow flatlines, which I can't see him doing. But then Andrew Crystal, too, a real good player, dynamic player, third in WHL scoring, I think, coming into action this weekend. He's a second-round NHL draft pick of the Washington Capitals. Do they move a guy like Andrew Crystal? I think they'll probably have to do that. I don't think you can hold on to this guy because you know he likely will not return as a 20-year-old. He was a stone throw away from making the Washington Capital roster this season as a 19-year-old. So it'll be interesting to see the players that are dealt right after the World Junior Hockey Championship. The Rockets could have 4 players that could play at the World Juniors, a couple of Europeans as well. So you throw that into the mix. Look for the Rockets come January, whatever. When the tournament ends, that's typically when they, when you hear of all these massive trades being made. The Rockets, they do need draft picks desperately. They need to obviously sell those off next year to teams to get their better players to come in Kelowna or to play in Kelowna. So it'll be a key for the Rockets. They're going to have to make some changes on their roster right now in order to be very good in 2026.
When we go back to the bid and the rink and all that, I was reading today. What is it, about $2 million that they got to put into that rink? Like, it's not old, but it's not new as well. Like, there's something with that. They got to do some upgrades, Regan. And what would those be?
Yeah, you talk about commitment from the city, right? $3.7 million. That's still not, that's not a bad chunk of cash to throw into this arena. It was built in 1999, and so it does need some upgrades. Right now, when you take a look at the fact that the scoreboard is the original scoreboard from 1999, it's that old. You can't even find parts for that scoreboard anymore. And even the Zambonis. Yeah, even the Zambonis are like, they're so old that once there's a problem, there's a massive problem because, again, where do you get parts for that? And so they're going to replace the scoreboard.
I was going to say, easier to find parts for a Honda CRX these days.
Pretty much, right? I mean, honestly, where do you go to find these things? You'd have to go on the internet, and I don't know, you'd have to get them from who knows where. Some parts, whatever department in Rosetown may have some whatever. So hopefully some parts hanging around that they can use. But yeah, so they're going to replace the scoreboard. I mean, they're going to have brand new sound system in there. What they're also going to do, I should mention this, is they're going to actually take some of the arena, the side of the arena, they're going to blow it out to add dressing rooms because that was the problem back in 2004. They used basically, what do you want to call it, almost like trailers, right, where they try to make these makeshift dressing rooms at the time that 2 of the visiting teams had to stay in. And that was acceptable back then, but it's not the standard now in 2026. So they're going to add new dressing rooms there. So there's a lot of work ahead here, but you're going to see a lot of things happening at Prospero Place. It's going to look a whole lot different in 2026 than it does today, for sure.
You might have to pull your Sasky card out and let them know, hey, have you ever thought about building a dressing room over top of the lobby? Yeah. Like the senior hockey barns. Get some stairs.
Right over top of the ticket office,
just
something like
the
that.
The Abbey Arena. All right, Riggs. I know we caught you. It's been busy 2 days for you, and we totally appreciate you giving us some time today, giving us some insight. And then we'll catch up in a little bit here and talk about the BC division, maybe in a month or so.
Absolutely. Good talking to you guys today. And, we're pretty happy for 2026. And I know there's a lot of sour grapes out there, but, hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's going to be a great place to be.
I think I might have to take that. Golf courses will be prime.
Oh, be perfect
in May in Kelowna. But Riggs. All right,
need a sponsor.
I'll send you. Actually, it's funny you mentioned the paycheck thing in Swift Current. I have my first one. I'll text you a picture of that tonight. It is absolutely laughable. It is, and I owe you a double at some point. Voice of the Kelowna Rockets, Regan Bartel, formerly from Swift Current, absolute beauty. It's Sharky and Shank. We're wrapping things up at Agribition. When we come back, you are watching that stream at sportscage.com.
Does it say information over top of us?
People stop by and they want to know where booths are.
They want to know what's
and
going
then
on.
it's like this guy, like your hat, buddy.
Yeah.
It's a little shooter walking around with a Regina Pats foam hat on. Yeah, no, they ask us. And then usually I say, I have no idea. Well, the one lady, she said, where's the Cooperator Center?
Just give her
anywhere past that wall. Yeah. We're live at Agribition. We're going to be here tomorrow. The rodeo tonight. If you're going, tickets available. Will be an absolute beauty. We caught up with, I guess it's the music
guy, Garrison
DJ
Panzer.
Garrison Panzer,
what
absolute beauty.
What a handle!
Talks like a Garrison, Texas accent.
Likes Nickelback.
I got him on a Nickelback Breathe. He says he's going to play it tonight.
I look forward to hearing it.
If you're going to the rodeo, I might peek my head in there just to hear if he starts with that. That was a great one. You can go back and listen to podcast form of any of the guests that we had today. Arash Madani was in. We started the show, I said, with rodeo. Also, Donny Uhren, owner of Extreme, came by. Glen Suitor, and then Regan Bartel. Last night, Cole Resheny. See that goal?
Yes.
Yeah. Sasky beauty with a minute and change left, top shelf to win that game. Yep. CHL versus the United States Development Team. Wasn't a big fan of that setup.
They're just trying to, they did like you guys talked about it yesterday, they did the Russian thing. They did playing against themselves. They're looking for somebody to play against. It's a sell of the game. It's in part wanted by the NHL teams to compare and see players of the same caliber with each other.
Yeah, I don't think because all the best American kids aren't there. A lot of them were playing in the CHL.
They're trying to find somebody to play. Yeah. They're at it, right? The Russians, they can't take the Russians anymore.
No, it could have got creative. We're available for creative ideas.
Swedes and the Finns will come over. Why wouldn't you bring them over?
No one wants to come over and play the major junior kids because then they get to run through the boards and it's not the hockey. We're going to see some great hockey, I think, at the Four Nations Cup coming up. We can talk about that next week because the teams get released December 4th. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Regardless, there's going to be controversy. Regardless.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody's going to be upset.
No games in the SJHL tonight. Don't forget Battleford, worth the drive trip out to watch that one tomorrow for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southeast Saskatchewan.
Is that in Battleford?
Tomorrow, Melfort. I can't remember. I think it's in Melfort.
It's Melfort. Okay. Northern Lights.
The Palace. Get your leisure card. Go for a swim. And tonight in the Prairie Junior Hockey League, we have Fort Knox
in
Regina Capitals at the Ritchie, 7:30. Good hockey.
Good popcorn.
It's good hockey. Yeah, go. You tell the guys there that run the concession. You heard it on the Sports Cage. What kind of mood are you guys in? Are you in a good mood tonight? What's the popcorn going to be like? They're going to be like, who the heck?
Who are those idiots? Yeah.
Oh, every time my son plays there, I'm $15-20 deep on different things for the kids. And then no games in the Western Hockey League. The Pats are in Kamloops tomorrow. You can hear that game right here on 620 CKRM. We're back tomorrow at Agribition. Well, I am anyway. You might be floating around.
I'll be around somewhere. Yep. Coming to the rodeo tomorrow night too.
We'll see. Oh yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the watching on the stream. All you YouTube subscribers, thank you very much. We will CNC, of course, thanks to you guys back there too, running a tight ship.
Yep.
We will talk to you in 21.